policies. The questions were heated. Washington Democratic Senator Maria Cantwell.
You canceled $500 million of research because the mRNA technology is about continuing the research to be ready for the next flu, influenza, the next pandemic, and you have to do the research.
I'm happy to have a detailed discussion with you about it. You're so wrong on your facts.
You're interrupting me, and sir, you're a charlatan.
President Trump's nominee to join the Federal Reserve Board faced some tough questions about his independence. Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Dr. Myron, you have made clear that you will do or say whatever Donald Trump wants you to do or say, and that may work in a political position, but it takes an axe to Fed independence and will make life far more expensive for American families.
CBS's Jake Rosen reports Washington, D.C. has filed suit over the administration's deployment of National Guard troops.
This tees up another legal battle. The D.C. Attorney General is citing this Los Angeles decision, saying that the way that the National Guard have been deployed here is inappropriate. Obviously, it took a couple of months to get that decision out of Los Angeles, but as the Trump administration teases sending the National Guard into places like Baltimore, New Orleans, Chicago, certainly something to keep an eye on, setting up yet another high-stakes battle about what President Trump's authority is in using the National Guard and how they're used once they're officially rolled out on the ground.
Northwestern University President Michael Schill says he will resign. The Trump administration froze federal funding over the university's response to campus protests. Schill says it's critical that the university's research mission be protected, as well as its academic independence. In Paris, European leaders met to discuss Ukraine security after a ceasefire deal. CBS's Natalie Brand reports.
Zelensky on social media, in speaking about this meeting, said that they discussed in detail each country's readiness to make a contribution to ensuring security on land, at sea, in the air, and in cyberspace. And he also said that the leaders share the same view that Russia is making every effort to drag out the negotiation process and prolong the war. European leaders saying Putin cannot be trusted.
Fashion designer Giorgio Armani has died. He was 91 years old. He dressed some of the biggest celebrities in the world for red carpet appearances. On Wall Street at this hour, stocks are higher, the Dow up nearly 300. This is CBS News.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Where smoke and haze from Washington wildfires is the worst right now. That's coming up. But first, Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Center.
Thanks, Heather. If you're just hitting the road, not much out there slowing you down, unless you're heading southbound on 405 through Renton, right there at Northeast 44th by the VMAC. We have a collision sitting in the Gore Point. It isn't blocking, but drivers are jamming up at the scene, and you'll start slowing way back at Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, plan on 20 minutes. Heading into Seattle, North 5 slows approaching the West Seattle Bridge just briefly. South 5, though, you're crowded from Northgate down to the Ship Canal Bridge. Linwood to Seattle, right around 25 minutes. South 5 through JBLM, we're seeing our backup forming at the main gate. Tacoma to Olympia is at 50 minutes. Another backup as you head into Olympia. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch. Yes, that is wildfire haze you're seeing in the skies of western Washington. And if you're heading east of the mountains, be aware.
Beth Friedman with the Washington Department of Ecology says all counties in central and eastern Washington are under air quality alerts.
Right now, most of central and eastern Washington, it's ranging anywhere between moderate air to very unhealthy air quality.
That's going to be the case for at least the next few days. There won't be enough wind to dissipate the smoke. She says here in the Seattle area, you may notice a red sun or some light smoke, but there are no air quality alerts for the Puget Sound region. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
We now know the bones recovered in the latest search for Travis Decker are not human. The FBI says a lab at Central Washington University did the analysis. Search teams recovered the bones during a 2-day grid search for the man accused of murdering his 3 young daughters at a campsite near Leavenworth. It's not known if Decker is dead or alive. Seattle police say they recovered narcotics at an auto body shop in the Chinatown International District. Captain Mike Strand says yesterday's bust followed a 2-month undercover operation at the business at 8th and Jackson, and they're not done.
As far as the business goes, we're going to work with our partners in the city attorney's office with the new nuisance abatement laws and see if we can close down this building entirely and the business itself.
Police say they witnessed users buying drugs at the shop every morning. They arrested 2 people. More may be charged. A former state official says she was fired for speaking out about crowding at Green Hill and Echo Glen juvenile detention centers. Felice Upton tells the Washington State Standard she's seeking nearly $5 million in damages. She led juvenile rehabilitation for Washington's Department of Children, Youth, and Families. As the Seahawks prepare to kick off their 50th season Sunday, KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson is checking out the food you'll find at Lumen Field this fall.
Feeding the fans
first down
that power the team.
It's going to be a really fun year for food and for football.
This year, Loon Cafe's Dubai chocolate strawberries, Korean rice hot dogs, a Legion of Boom tribute in the form of fried catfish, and flaming hot Cheeto chicken tenders.
We absolutely do test and say, okay, is this really going to work?
For Chef Boris, it's about providing an experience like nowhere else in the league.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today with highs in the low 80s. It's 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO Newsradio.
Welcome to the show. Happy Thursday, September 4th. Jake Skorheim here, sitting alongside Greg Tomlin. Spike O'Neill still out for a couple days, so Greg's hanging out with us. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Good to be back. Hope Spike is enjoying his R&R, and lots to get to today, Jake. I'm excited for the show.
Tons of stuff. And before we get into first things first, I just want to play this. My new favorite clip of the week.
I hate it when people don't tell me things.
I hate it when people don't tell me things.
Did you know that the bathrooms downstairs are out of toilet paper?
What?
I hate it when people don't tell me things.
Now I know. The more you know. That, of course, is Seattle City Council President Sarah Nelson, who didn't know a lot yesterday at a press conference that she gave. All right, let's get into first things first. Lots of stuff to talk about. There's a great story. This guy is he's batting 10 for 10 or 1,000 or whatever the stats would be. Charlie Harger has a good piece about that guy who was arrested just the other day. Do you remember that driver who was they were calling him the most dangerous driver in Washington State?
Yeah, that's what the Thurston County Sheriff dubbed him. How could I forget this story? Yeah, it just happened, this incident after midnight on Saturday.
A stolen BMW is reported. Police respond. They give up the chase because it's a police chase, and I guess he was driving in a way that they decided to stop chasing him.
He was driving in the way that you would if you were high on meth and fentanyl.
Which he apparently was. And then he drives off. He's then picked up on the freeway by Pierce County Sheriff. Was it not Pierce County Sheriff? Who was it?
Thurston County.
Thurston County Sheriff. Who sees him driving, at the time the claim was like in excess of 120 miles an hour.
Going the wrong way,
which does draw the eye. It gets people's attention. So they were able to stop him and get him arrested. And they discover, because they don't know who's behind the wheel of a car like that, they discover when they book the guy that this is his 29th arrest, which is a lot. It's a lot. And so he's arrested. That draws a lot of attention, obviously. I think even national attention. People are like, wow, this guy's arrested 29 times. That's a lot. He was arrested while he was on probation for, I believe, a DUI, right? That he had earlier this year.
Felony DUI, yeah.
Felony
convicted.
DUI.
Mm-hmm.
So he's already on probation. He's got and he's driving with a suspended license. So I guess now he has a double secret suspended license.
I mean, his rap sheet, if you were to print it out double-sided, would probably amount to a novella. 28 previous arrests prior to this one, 14 felony convictions. Rap sheet includes vehicular assault, auto theft, attempting to evade police, outstanding warrant, on and on and on.
On and on. Let me ask you a question, because now people are saying, obviously this guy's off the road now. There's no possible chance he's going to get back on the road, so we feel good about it. He gets in front of a judge. The judge looks at his rap sheet and says, I'm going to give you $100,000 bail, which means with a bail bondsman, you're actually out for 10 grand, which is a very achievable number. So he could get out soon. Now, he won't have access to a vehicle because his license would be double secret suspended, but he didn't have access to it last time, and he still somehow found his way behind the wheel of a vehicle to drive like over 120 miles an hour the wrong way on a freeway. And thank God nobody died. In fact, Sheriff Sanders said, he says, this is nothing short of a miracle that this man didn't kill somebody. When you're going 60 miles per hour and somebody hits you at 120 miles per hour, everybody dies in that. Presumably somebody going the correct direction on I-5 is going the speed limit. He's going the opposite direction. That could have been devastating. So my question to you is, why do you think the judge gave him bail? Why not just keep him locked up? If you've been arrested 29 times, I feel like the judge, here's what I would imagine would happen. You're looking at that long list. They bring him into court, and these judges are, I mean, how many traffic court, how many people are they seeing a day? Dozens and dozens?
Yeah.
He gets in front of you. He's a young-looking guy. Your inclination is, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. Let's let this guy off with some sort of a bail. And then you read his rap sheet and you go, oh, wait a minute. He's been arrested 28 times.
Clearly not getting the message.
Maybe this isn't like the perfect guy to let back out because he has shown that he has a proclivity for getting behind the wheel and doing crazy things. Why do you think the judge let him out in this case?
Oh, I can't read the judge's mind here, but I think you and I can both agree on a judgment of his discernment and his decision here. It's outrageous, Jake. He can get out for the price of a used Honda CRV from the year 2012 with 170,000 miles on it. The most dangerous driver in the state, according to the Thurston County Sheriff.
And then he might kill somebody in that car.
That's insane. I mean, yeah, thank God. And I guess the silver lining here is the judge said that he can't drive if he posts bail.
He already could drive.
Which I'm sure he'd go, this time I'm going to obey the law, of course.
He was arrested this time on a suspended license. Like, it doesn't make... It doesn't make sense.
Seems like our justice system in this region has routinely favored the perpetrators and not defended the law-abiding taxpayers over and over and over again. And this is just another symbolic case to highlight that.
Who are they trying to protect?
The offenders.
The people who are driving the correct way on the road, or the guy who's been arrested 28 times prior with 14 felony convictions?
Yeah.
And, right? Isn't it 14 felony convictions?
Yes.
14 felony convictions. Who's driving the wrong way at double the speed limit on a suspended license in a stolen vehicle. That's not a guy that I would, like, this was my response. I heard the judge was doing this. I immediately went to this. I was like, I got to play this on the show.
What the hell were you thinking?
Like, if somebody in the courtroom where the judge goes, you know what? I mean, do they have gavels, right? Gavel. $100,000 bail, which means $10,000, which is very achievable. What? That doesn't make any sense.
But again, and then you might say I'm a broken record on this, but it comes down to first principles and root causes here. And what is the guiding philosophy of the leading ideology in this region? And that is, people should be able to get second chance after second chance. And we believe in rehabilitation and services. But then it begs the question, what happens when people don't want to be rehabilitated?
Yeah.
What happens when people don't want services? What happens when someone gets 29 second chances and they say, I don't give a damn. I have no intent on discontinuing illegal behavior.
100%.
And it's disgusting that, again, yes, even millions of people around here are not prioritized over these criminals that it seems like they're given second chance after second chance until they commit the ultimate heinous act, which is potentially taking someone's life. Because if this guy's able to drive again and maybe, 10 more convictions, 20 more convictions, it's only a matter of time before he ends someone's life. And then finally, maybe he'll get a few years in prison, I guess.
Do you remember that clip from, have you seen Tombstone? Of course you've seen Tombstone.
I know of Tombstone, and I know clips from Tombstone, but I haven't seen it from beginning to end.
What? I've even seen
That's
Tombstone.
the Wyatt Earp movie?
Is this a joke?
Val Kilmer's in it, right?
Val Kilmer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kurt Russell?
You don't have to shame me on the air.
Of course I do. Shame's a very effective method. You have not seen Tombstone? I did not think this was where this conversation was going to go.
Okay, sell it to me or tie it into the story here. I want to know.
There's a scene in Tombstone where Val Kilmer is describing, there's the ultimate bad guy who's like a quick shooter, and I'm forgetting his name right now.
Sounds
Johnny
memorable.
Ringo. Johnny Ringo. Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday.
I knew that, yeah.
his younger bad guy version is Johnny Ringo, and those two are like quick guns, like quick fire guys.
Quickest draw in the West.
Quickest draw in the West. And they're and boy, this Johnny Ringo's got an attitude. He just gets into it with everybody. He's angry. And somebody asked, it's Wyatt Earp, played by Kurt Russell, who's fantastic in the movie, just crushes, of course, because it's Kurt Russell. He crushes in every movie. He's talking to Doc Holliday, and they're talking about, like, why is he so angry? Why is he so angry? And Val Kilmer says, as Doc Holliday, he goes, he's not angry, or he says, some folks are just angry at being born. He's just like, he's got something deep inside him.
Right.
He's angry. He's trying to get revenge or something. I'm butchering the line. Everybody's texting me right now that I'm butchering it. I know I'm butchering it. Thank you very much. But the point still applies. He has something inside of him that's broken that maybe can't even be fixed. It maybe can't be fixed. I don't know that. Maybe it can be fixed. I mean, obviously, I'm a huge believer in grace,
redemption.
I'm a huge believer in redemption,
yes.
And I like to believe that everybody can change their life and turn it around. But it doesn't mean that it has to come at the sacrifice or the safety of the rest of us. And this guy has been arrested 28 times. Now the 29th time comes along, and they give him yet again bail.
Yeah.
And I would go back to the Val Kilmer line, whatever it might be. And I'm paraphrasing it because I can't remember it off the top of my head. But some version of, he's just angry that he was born. You're looking it up right now. Good for you.
No. I was going to make another movie comparison, and that is, what was it, The Dark Knight, where Christian Bale is talking to Michael Caine. Michael Caine. And Michael Caine talks about this like career criminal who, committed the most evil acts in the world, murdered people, and he basically comes to the conclusion, hey, some people just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Okay, and so
100%.
what do we do with that fact? And there's a comparison with the Tombstone
we
story
lock them
there.
up. That's what we do.
Yeah, that's exactly
we
right.
lock them up.
It seems very simple and straightforward.
This guy, if you told me this guy had been arrested 15 times, I would probably have the same response because that's still an insane amount of times.
Yes.
If this is his first arrest and he's going the wrong way and he's high on meth and fentanyl or whatever he had in his system, allegedly, then is there a version where he goes into some sort of a rehabilitation program and maybe gets his life on track? Yeah, maybe, but he still did a horribly illegal thing, put people's life at danger, stole a vehicle, evaded multiple law enforcement officers who tried to chase him, and then for this judge to say, hey, you know what, bail, $10,000, here you go. That's not protecting the public. That's doing something else. That's a whole separate thing. And again,
he's been incentivized to continue the behavior over and over. There's no deterrent.
It's clearly a cry for help.
There's no commensurate penalty to the offenses he's committed up to this point. First principles. Mercy to the guilty is cruelty to the innocent. I mean, that's everything. Every prosecutor in the state should have that on their desk, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this guy clearly it's a cry for help, and they're not helping him out by letting him out again. He's going to do it again. He's been arrested 29 times. I'd bet money on it. So, stay out of his way if you can avoid it. All right, let's see. Let's move on to this. Oh, this is a story that's interesting. Seattle. Did you see this? King 5 had this story. It's kind of everywhere now. Seattle has decided to close 3 parks. They have cited safety concerns in the parks. What's interesting about this is that they are closing them. One of the parks that they're closing is right near an elementary school, and what they're not shutting down is the homeless encampment where all of the drugs and needles and dangerous things that leaked into the park presumably are coming from. And so they talked to these neighbors in Capitol Hill, King 5 did. They talked to these neighbors of this park that has now a giant fence around, like a chain link fence around it. The city's shutting it down for 60 days, and they're hoping that maybe the ne'er-do-wells just decide to, wander off somewhere. But they talked to residents nearby, and they are not happy that this is happening. Listen to this.
The park has been marked as a safe space to come and do drugs and be an outlaw, and that cannot go forward. Drug-related activity, sex trafficking, stolen goods, cars being broken into, our houses being broken into, trespassing, not to mention the sanitary conditions. I think a fence right now is a good idea because it breaks the chain of events, so people don't feel emboldened to come back.
But what it doesn't do is deal with the people who were leaving all that stuff out.
Literally within hours after the fence went up, I observed, living right across the street, many of the same people circling. Help us and help these people. Help yourselves. This is insane. It's insane.
You can hear in his voice, I feel so bad for that guy. Like, what do you do? You've already complained with the city. There's a Find It, Fix It app. Have you ever used the Find It, Fix It app that they have in Seattle?
I haven't. I know of it, but I haven't used it.
I think, Laura, you've used it, or
Yeah, I've used it a handful of times.
The idea is if you see something that needs to be fixed.
It's like expedite this game of whack-a-mole.
Yeah. The city needs more eyes and ears on the street. They can't possibly be everywhere all at once. And so they are asking citizens to say, hey, if you see something that needs fixing, it could be a homeless encampment, it could be whatever it is, put a little note in the app and we'll get to it when we can get to it. Apparently, these people have been doing that at these parks for months, and they say then overnight they just decide to shut these parks down.
Yeah, and it's going to be closed. These parks are going to be closed for up to 60 days. Seven Hills Park on Capitol Hill, Lake City Mini Park, and I'll butcher the name here, but Blanche Lavizo Park in the Central District.
Sure.
All first closed on August 28th.
But they're not dealing with the root cause of the issue, which would be the homeless encampment. And then the worst problem is that it's also near an elementary school. Listen to this woman describe. This is right near an elementary school, and what the elementary school is now doing to try to avoid this area.
And any homeless encampment or homeless activity near a school should be the highest priority to get rid of.
That's not a 2-month find it, fix it. It's like, wait a minute, what?
Right
near an
away,
elementary school?
instantly.
Go,
yes.
instantly.
When I see an encampment across the street where fentanyl is being smoked, who knows if it's being dealt, it concerns me greatly. Blocking the sidewalk, there's several tents up there, garbage, abandoned furniture, all kinds of clutter and garbage, and who knows what else is on the ground there. I said, officer, there's a fentanyl encampment across the street from Lowell Elementary. And I said, tomorrow's the first day of school. Start really dealing with this head on and realize you have a serious problem and quit making excuses for it.
You know what this sadly reminds me of? Two things. One, it reminds me, Laura, what was the name of the park you went to as a kid? The one that you said you used to...
that one in Lake City Way.
Yeah.
Where there was a shooting just a few weeks ago.
There was prior to the shooting, for months, neighbors said that they put in like many calls to the city. They've called law enforcement. They did the Find It, Fix It thing. And they said, hey, this is a big deal. We got to deal with this issue. Children would play at that park and they'd be nearby horribly violent people who were going through drug-induced stupors. And then finally, two people get shot and killed there. And then they finally, the city finally goes in and goes, yeah, we should probably deal with this problem. Now that two people have lost their lives. The other thing it makes me think about is, did somebody in the Seattle City Council's office or like the mayor's office just discover fences? They have decided to put a fence up around these parks as if that's like a catch-all and fix all the things. They did the same thing at Denny Blaine. Do you remember the people who were self-pleasuring at the Denny Blaine Nude Park?
Right.
And they said, hey, genius idea, mayor or city council. What if instead of arresting the people who are doing the lewd acts, of which there's countless videos of and people can circulate and you could find, please don't look. What if instead of arresting people, what if we put up like a fence with like kind of a thin sheet? You could even like kind of describe it as like a tarp privacy sheet, and that will stop people from, or at least give them more cover when they're doing these horribly lewd things in a public park. And the city said, that's it. Nailed it. Perfect. A fence. Do you think it's going to work here? It didn't work in Denny Blaine, and now they have this temporary fence up. Is it going to do anything?
Well, it'll work for 60 days, but the unfortunate part about this as well is that law-abiding citizens can't use the park now either because they're all covered in fences. So it's an eyesore.
That's the thing. Who are we protecting
then the
here?
second the fences come down, you can expect the homeless element, to immediately go right back in. It's just putting a Band-Aid on a hemorrhaging wound. Do better.
They're just waiting outside the fence. Like, that's
exactly
what the guy said. They're just, they've actually just moved across. I can see him right now. I'm waving.
I always compare these sweeps to a deep clean. You know, every once in a while you hear about someone like, oh, I got a deep clean for my house, you know.
Spring cleaning, sure.
It's spring cleaning. This is a deep clean for these homeless areas, and they come right back in and they go, oh, nice. We have a fresh grass to defecate on now and do our drugs on now. And in a few months, we'll get another deep clean.
They were upset because there was too many needles on it before. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. Next, when we come back, there's a local school district who's doing something really smart with cell phones. We want to highlight it, but do they go far enough? We'll discuss. Stick around.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
One thing you can always count on is a change in the weather. Time to protect your home now with the help from the pros at Integrity Roofing and Construction. With years of experience in roofing and restoration, their skilled team delivers exceptional craftsmanship, whether it's a simple roof repair or a full renovation. Integrity offers free estimates, and their customer satisfaction speaks for itself. Don't wait until the next storm hits. Schedule your free estimate today. Call Integrity at 206-202-ROOF or visit online at integrityrc.com. That's integrityrc.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our clients' portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Homeowners, federal tax credits on heat pumps end soon. Home Comfort Alliance can help you save up to 75% on new in-stock heat pumps with combined discounts, utility rebates, and expiring federal tax credits on systems installed by December 31st. These are new in-stock high-efficiency models that will make your home comfortable year-round. Federal tax credits expire December 31st, so don't wait. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com. For all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, it's Home Comfort Alliance, the comfort people.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Lake Washington Windows Autumn Savings Event is on now. Save $500 per window, $1,000 per door, plus 12 months same as cash financing with Lake Washington Windows.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that, and third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. in season or out, at every fill up or when you store. Start with Stable.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Heather Bosch. Level 3 get out now evacuations are in effect for people who live about 25 miles northeast of Leavenworth. A wildfire sparked by lightning Sunday has surged to more than 6,200 acres, and there's a red flag warning in effect until 9 tonight.
Those hot temperatures and low humidities cause more extreme fire behavior.
Jody Schiffman at the Northwest Interagency Coordination Center. Federal immigration agents would be kept out of areas where firefighters are battling wildfires under an ordinance a Thurston County commissioner is introducing. This comes after Border Patrol agents arrested 2 firefighters and forced 42 other contract firefighters to leave the Bear Gulch wildfire on the Olympic Peninsula.
I've been in the fire service for almost 30 years, and this is not business as usual.
Commissioner Wayne Fournier's proposal would designate emergency operations as non-interference zones. The county's legal team is reviewing the ordinance. U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell of Washington was among the lawmakers who grilled Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. this morning.
You're so wrong on your facts.
You're interrupting me. And, sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are.
Kennedy's accused of pushing non-scientifically based vaccine and other policies, forcing doctors and scientists out of the CDC.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC.
More than 1,000 current and former federal health agency workers are demanding Kennedy resign, saying he is endangering public health. A new analysis by the state finds over 30,000 jobs in Washington state could be lost by 2029 due to tariffs.
We also predict a 7% spike in the cost of clothes and shoes in the next year. A 14% increase in natural gas prices, which of course push up utility bills.
Governor Bob Ferguson says grocery prices are predicted to rise by more than 15% over the next 4 years. President Trump says the tariffs are necessary to fix a trade imbalance and will encourage more manufacturing within the U.S. Job cuts spiked in August. CBS's Jason Brooks.
Nearly 86,000 layoffs are tallied in the Challenger Job Cut Report, a gain of 39% from the previous month, with financial firms laying off more workers than any other sector, with tech in second.
The Dow is up 318 points, NASDAQ ahead 158. Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Center.
Thanks, Heather. Wilcox Family Farm Eggs brings us our latest update. We've got all westbound lanes closed on Highway 512 in Puyallup near Woodland Avenue as fire crews are battling brush fire down there. You're backed up bumper to bumper heading into that South Hill curve. Eastbound 512 jams up approaching the scene. No estimated time when this will reopen. Through Renton, South 405, we're filling in between Coal Creek Parkway and Northeast 44th, where we still have a disabled vehicle sitting in the gore point next to that on-ramp. Again, it isn't blocking, but drivers are slowing at the scene, and that's the cause of this backup. Bellevue to Renton still doing pretty good at 15 to 20 minutes. South 5 into Seattle, you're crowded from Northgate into downtown already. Linwood to Seattle's at 25 minutes. South 5 through JBLM, we've got a 2 to 3 mile bumper-to-bumper backup at the main gate. Tacoma to Olympia, pushing an hour at 55 minutes. Another backup between Lacey and Olympia. Fresh food comes from local farms for healthier eggs with 3 times the omega-3s. Choose Wilcox omega-3 eggs at Costco. Locally fresh since 1909. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today with highs in the low 80s. It is 68 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
I hate it when people don't tell me things.
Welcome back to the show. All right. Cell phones. Everybody's got one. Even kids these days. I see kids walking around with them all the time. I'm always shocked. Maybe it's because I feel old. Or maybe I am old, but I see kids walking around. My oldest is in 5th grade. He has friends.
He's right on the edge, Jake, of when the pressure really starts to increase.
He has a friend who has a phone.
Yep. Yeah, that's when it starts, about 5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
And I'm not trying to dog these parents, and I certainly would never, want them to feel like they're being judged by me. But what in the hell are they thinking?
We have the same thought when we see that. So we went through that with our 14-year-old, and now we have a 6th grader. And inevitably, I think 2 or 3 kids in his class have started to pull out the smartphones. And we, as the parents who are not affording that luxury to our kids and privilege and responsibility, are going, what are you guys doing?
You guys
now you're increasing the pressure on everybody else.
You're hurting all of us.
Yes, you're hurting all. Like, get with the program. Aren't we in this together? What are you doing?
I know. It's like when you meet those parents who let their kids watch anything, and like they have seen everything, and they watch R-rated things, and the kids have horrible. They swear and
they shame your kids for not having.
You haven't
seen
blah blah blah. You don't watch this or that, and you're just like, no, because my child is a sweet precious thing that I want to try to protect. And I don't want them watching vile things that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. Anyway.
Nightmare fuel.
I digress. North Shore School District. Why are we talking about them?
3 cheers for them.
2 cheers for me.
Oh, only 2?
Yeah. And I'll get into why it's only 2 out of 3. It's still good. I mean, that's still pretty good.
You're giving it 2 out of 3 Skorheims.
2 out of 3 Skorheims.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. North Shore School District. You can read about this on mynorthwest.com. They have a new school policy for the 25-26 school year, which is this year. They have decided they're trying to reduce distractions in classrooms. And so they've decided that you are not allowed to have a phone on campus if you are in elementary or junior high, which I think that's okay. Those are my 2 claps. But high school, this is where they don't get a clap from me. You can still have a cell phone in high school. And to me, that's like the worst age. Most parents are self-selecting to not let kids have phones in elementary school. Less, but still most, I don't think are giving kids phones in middle school to be used. So, but whatever, the school district's saying they can't have them in those cases. A lot of people are letting their kids have cell phones in high school. And the school is saying that you can have them. Here's when the high school students are able to use their devices. They say you cannot use them during class, which is an obvious. That doesn't even need to be said. It's just you can't use them during class. You can use them between classes and at lunch and before and after school, which are not in the school's purview. So I don't even know why they said that either. So between classes and at lunch. And to me, there is a social aspect to high school that these kids are going to be completely, if I had the option, I mean, I was a very awkward kid in high school. It was very difficult for me to go and have conversations with people. Can
you imagine if you
petrified.
had that little safety blanket of that smartphone that you could just escape into constantly?
Stupidly, I had to read books just to look like I was doing something.
Or branch out and talk to people.
Or branch out and
God
talk
forbid,
to people.
yeah.
And now you have these kids who have this, you're right, you're totally right, the safety net of having a phone that they can just pick up and look at and not have to make eye contact with people. These are vital years.
Well, I've heard the smartphone compared to pacifiers. It's your binky.
Oh my gosh,
it's your passy.
Perfect.
That you need. It's your, the comfort is back. I got the immediate kind of feeling of...
Somebody should sell a cell phone called the binky.
The binky.
Just watch it take off.
Okay, I will revise my judgment. Yeah, it's probably 2 out of 3 cheers then, because I agree with you that the restrictions should be strict even at the high school level. And that is, okay, let them have the phone before the school day and after the school day. But if they're able to have it at lunch and between classes, it sort of kind of defeats the purpose, right? So there's research, both concrete and anecdotal on this, that smartphones at schools for kids is far more detrimental to their development than beneficial. Smartphones in the hands of kids at institutes of learning lead to more distractions, an increase in loneliness, less socialization, more bullying, more depression, less community, less learning. It's a lose-lose-lose. It's harmful, not helpful to kids. And I sort of wonder, I've been a big proponent of stigmatizing, kids with smartphones, even though it's not their fault. You got to stigmatize the parents' choice to give them the smartphones. But if you saw an adult give a 13-year-old a beer, you would probably guilt and shame that parent or that adult and say, what the hell are you doing?
Correct.
I think we're fast approaching a day where it's becoming like that for smartphones. Like, why would you do that to your kid?
Yeah.
You're giving them the whole world in their pocket to access at all times. That is a disaster. And eventually we're going to come to understand that it's gross negligence to do that to a child.
I've seen news stories recently where you have parents who are busy on their phones and their kids get into, sometimes they are perishing because they're falling into pools or they're doing because the parents are staring at their phones also. So parents, you also need to shame parents. Like I see kids at, I see parents at pools. Like when we go take our kids to swimming lessons, this always is insane to me. Your kid's literally there, doesn't know how to swim. They're in a pool. They're with a teacher, so hopefully they've got them. But I'm watching all these parents not watching this amazing moment in life as your kid is developing a skill that they're going to have for the rest of their life. You're also just like, how often do you get to go sit in a nice human environment and just like watch your kids swim around? That's a nice thing. And they're all staring at their dumb phones.
It's a nightmare. It's sad.
You're missing
you have pity
out.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You're missing out on life. Like when you're on your deathbed someday, you're not going to go, God, I wish I would have scrolled on my phone more. Oh, wouldn't that be awesome?
Wish I had more dopamine hits. The real question, though, is when do you start to sort of ease the restrictions? And so, I mean, I'm a big believer in crawl, walk, run, in terms of children's development. So they're going to have a smartphone at some point. Delay is the way, yes. But once you start getting to like junior, senior year and stuff, it's nice to still have the kid under your roof to where you can sort of talk them through how to use it in a way that is beneficial and avoid some of the terrible aspects of cell phone addiction and, going down avenues of the internet and social media that are actually harmful and detrimental to your health and stuff. So I think, I don't know, again, like with a driver's license or being able to vote at 18, I think sort of 17, 18 is where a parent should probably start to ease up a little bit and really kind of be right next to the kid as they're using the technology. And then when they're ready to send them off to college or enter the workforce, then they've had some experience kind of wielding the thing rather than a harsh no. And then all of a sudden they're set out into the world and have no idea how to wield this thing in a beneficial way. You disagree?
Well, no, the point you're making is correct. It's well-intentioned. I think you've thought this out, and I think it's smart. But, they're also going to get access to alcohol at 21, and I'm not one of those parents who goes like, hey, you know what? Let's have a few at the house before you're 21, just so you get used to it and you start to understand that it can be a really dangerous thing. So I wouldn't do it with alcohol. I wouldn't hand them a pack of cigarettes, the year before they turn 18. Like, hey, you know what? You might smoke a little bit when you're... what is it? Is it 21 now or is it 18? I don't even know what the age limit is.
I think weed's 21. Smoking might be 21 too.
Is it 21?
I'm not sure, actually. Maybe it went up in Washington State.
I don't know. I feel like I'm hoping that we do what you suggested a little bit ago, and there's this shame culture that happens with phones where people start to really shame people for losing themselves in these phones.
Well, and there was a guinea pig time frame where I think you could claim ignorance and naivete. I think that ship has sailed,
though. Yeah, this guinea pig has sailed.
And now you're like a head in the sand person if you ignore so much of the data and research that is out there and easily accessible.
Like the classic guinea pig's head in the sand analogy.
That's exactly it.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
I'm Captain John Kelly with the Salvation Army. The Seattle Addiction Recovery Program helps men break free from addiction at no cost to them through physical, emotional, and spiritual growth. That's why our success rate is nearly 4 times the national average. While participants pay nothing, it costs the Salvation Army about $10,000 to help one person graduate into recovery. Want to help? Join us for the Red Shield Classic Golf Tournament, September 11th at Echo Falls. Register or donate at tsaredshieldclassic.org. Together, we can change lives.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-486-9600. That's 800-486-9600.
Step into Seahawks game day at the Pro Shop, where the roar of the 12s begins. And official Seahawks gear is always within reach.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
This is the Pro Shop. Visit the official store of the Seattle Seahawks, located at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton.
Jim Singletary here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we're not afraid to tell you no. Looking for a roofing company that'll do cheap, fast work and just cover up the problem? No, that's not us. Want a quick quote without a real inspection? Nope. Just want a price without knowing your options? Not happening. Look, we don't want to tell you no, but if saying yes means cut corners, bad results, or wasted money, we won't do it. Period. And here's the deal. Seattle gets 150 rainy days a year. That's not wait and see weather, it's call RoofSmart now weather. We say no to leaky roofs, sloppy work, and bad estimates, and yes to thorough inspections, accurate quotes, and top quality work that actually lasts. So if you want an honest roofer who's not afraid to say no to bad work, call RoofSmart today at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Experience the thrill of seeing orcas and humpback whales with Puget Sound Express. Join their family-run tours for guaranteed whale sightings, departing daily from Edmonds. These are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Book now at PugetSoundExpress.com.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
All right, welcome back to the show. The NFL season officially kicks off tonight.
Are you ready for some football?
Yes, I am ready for some football. Eagles versus Cowboys, Thursday Night Football. People should be very excited. You were saying earlier you think this is going to be Dak Prescott's year.
Yeah. I'm not so sure about that. I think he's been overpromised, underdelivered. Eagles 8-point favorites here.
He has not been underpaid. That's
poor
for sure.
Dak, America's team. I know there's a new Netflix documentary about America's team from the 90s. I was always a Bills fan during that era, so it was so heartbreaking.
You grew up here. Why are you a Bills fan?
I like their logo. I mean, I was a child, man. Yeah. I was like, I like those shiny colors.
You also never saw Tombstone, which we established earlier. Speaking of, Laura, give me. I couldn't come up with a quote earlier that Doc Holliday was saying about Johnny Ringo, and I kept butchering it, and people were texting me that I was an idiot. Can we clear the air?
A man like Ringo got a great empty hole right to the middle of him. He can never kill enough or steal enough or inflict enough pain to ever feel it.
What does he need?
Revenge.
Revenge.
For what?
Being born.
So good.
And he's saying that's like Dak Prescott?
No,
he's got a hole in his heart.
He's got a hole in his heart. He's my friend. That is the best movie. You have to see it, Greg.
I'm convinced.
Can you see it tonight?
It's next on my list.
We're giving you
But
homework.
I have to sit down with my wife and watch it, and then she falls asleep within an hour, and then I get angry that she's fallen asleep.
You've described every TV experience I have with my wife in all of life. We sit down to watch something, and she falls asleep.
But
magically, I'm rubbing her feet somehow. They always end up in my hands.
But when we're watching a cinematic piece of glory such as Tombstone, and we're an hour in, and I'm on the edge of my seat and utterly captivated, my jaw's open because I just can't believe how incredible filmmaking this is, and I look over at my wife and I hear snoring, I'm taken out of it. I'm no longer able to suspend disbelief.
You've done it the wrong way.
And I think, well, she's bored, and then I start to get a little bored and upset, and it just doesn't
You reach
work.
forward and you turn it up.
Giving you a glimpse behind the curtain at the Tomlin household.
You turn it up.
You turn
hit
it
the volume.
up.
You go.
And you gasp at nothing.
Yeah.
And you
I
touch your arm. Whoa.
I opt for the throwing of the pillow in the face. That seems to work.
Just
for me.
watch the movie.
How long
You're
have you been married?
Yeah,
almost 20 years.
You're
So
gonna love it. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. All right, so back to football for a second. The Seahawks celebrating the team's 50th season. That's pretty cool. They have a new lineup of fun foods. This is
over at Lumen,
preseason tradition that every professional franchise always wants to highlight new food options. So this year, Greg, what are a few of the things that we can expect at Lumen Field?
Flaming hot Cheeto chicken tenders, Hawaiian king roll rib sandwich.
That sounds good. I like Hawaiian rolls. I like ribs. That sounds great.
That's
I like that.
That's all I see so
Flaming
far.
hot Cheeto chicken tenders. I don't know that I would do that. I have a sensitive tummy.
I would give it a go.
Flaming hot?
Yeah, it's just like a spicy chicken tender.
Do you like hot Cheetos and Takis?
In limited quantities.
Yeah, my kids love them.
What about chocolate strawberries? I guess those are going to be sold over there.
Are they
at
Cheeto
Lumen.
flavored?
Not these ones.
No. I
Are
would
they
not.
the dingleberries?
I would not have. What?
That's the name of the company that does the chocolate strawberries on a stick.
What are they called?
Dingleberries.
Really?
Yeah. No one's told them.
That sounds tasty. No, these ones are apparently Luna Cafe's Dubain chocolate strawberries.
I think he meant Dubai. Because Dubai chocolate is a real trend right now with like the pistachio filling.
Well, unless
that's
My
a
Northwest has a
typo.
typo.
No,
which-
it's a KIRO 7 typo.
Is it a KIRO 7?
Yeah, that's a KIRO article.
Dubain?
I
Dubain
would
doesn't
never,
make sense.
I would never put that on the My Northwest web team.
It'll be interesting to see what fans report back in terms of those that go to Lumen Field to view a game and the prices of the food. Because last season, a report found that Lumen Field had the most expensive beer hot dog combo in the league.
Really? How
at
much?
$19.98. Atlanta was the cheapest at $7.49.
$20.
And yesterday, I know the Baltimore Ravens posted that fans for under $5 could get a meal. So are they going to make prices more competitive over there? I don't know. T-Mobile Park did this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for their cheap deals that they have. It's like the
value stands,
the value
yeah.
menu with the nachos and the drizzly cheese for
Or
like
the junior
$4.
dog.
Technically, it is
The
food.
value dog, yeah. The value dogs are great. If you walk, and they have
Love the
Amazon
value
has all
dogs.
those walk-in things that are so cool. You just walk in, and then when you walk out, they just charge you.
It's
And I
great.
always hope maybe they'll make a mistake and they won't charge me,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, but what about the team itself? So the Seahawks home opener is against the 49ers, bitter foes.
41.
105 kickoff on Sunday, opening up as underdogs, 2.5-point underdogs. And I was looking at Vegas odds for the Seahawks season. What would you predict is the over-under in terms of wins where odds makers have set the total?
What do I
Last year,
predict?
the Seahawks were 10-7.
10-7 last year.
10-7.
So what do they think
What's
they're going to finish
the
this year?
over-under on wins?
I think they're going to finish. I think they're going to be. I think they're predicted to probably go 9-8.
Okay, that's pretty close then. So the odds makers put it at 8 wins.
8 wins?
So you would be taking the over in that case.
Okay, I would take the over. Yeah. So I think they're going to do better because I think it's helpful. This is what you want right before the season. What you don't want is for everybody to go, God, these guys are so great. Everybody's so excited about them. They're the best team in the world. They're going to be the best. They're going to win a Super Bowl. You want them to be undervaluing you, and you want to get that chip on your shoulder because then you have some anger going into the season, which is I have always found very helpful in sports. Now, I was never very good at sports, so my chip on my shoulder came from just being bad at sports. But if I had any athletic talent, it would have been very useful, I imagine. So these guys are in the NFL, so they're all very talented athletes. So I think it's good for them to be an underdog at home, even, which is great.
And is it weird to be talking about getting excited for the football season when we still have a couple weeks left in the MLB season? I know the Mariners have hit a bit of a tough streak here.
If there was,
but there's still time, folks.
True
to the blue.
Yeah. Listen, we all hope for the best. But if the Mariners were giving you any reason to hope, then I would say let's spread it out. But since they're not, and it's been a pretty dismal month, then I would say I'm excited for the NFL to kick off. That's going to be nice. All right, we got a lot more coming up. That hour went fast. Good Lord. We have a lot more coming up. Washington has a new health alliance with California and Oregon. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Was grilled in D.C. today, and lots of good audio to play from that. Just tons of great stuff to chat about. So stick around. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
On your smart speaker before you head out the door.
We continue to be in recovery mode on northbound I-5.
Watch live on YouTube or the KIRO News Radio app.
Newfangled idea of having to see the people while they're talking.
The office, the gym, wherever you are.
Get on the YouTube channel. The whole gang's there.
KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM, powered by MyNorthwest.com.
If you've been considering upgrading your siding, now is the perfect time. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. In the Pacific Northwest, moisture is the enemy. Old failing siding leads to hidden water damage, rot, and mold. State Roofing and Exteriors is a James Hardy preferred contractor with over 55 years of siding expertise. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your siding inspection today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Out at the Wilcox family farm, our hens roam freely on fresh green pasture. But that means predators like coyotes and eagles are always nearby. That's where our team of Great Pyrenees help out. These gentle giants were born to protect, and they become a part of our family. Raised alongside the chickens from puppyhood. Our hens are raised humanely, our practices are organic, and our promise is simple. Fresh eggs straight from our farm to your table. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Viking, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. went before lawmakers today facing some tough questions about vaccine guidelines and the firings at the CDC.
Change has its enemies. That's why we need new blood at CDC. That's also why it's imperative that we remove officials with conflicts of interest and catastrophically bad judgment and political agendas.
CBS's Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill.
He defended those firings, saying that it was the right thing to do. You know, he continues to insist that he is concerned about chronic diseases in this country, that the rates have gone through the roof, and that some of this happened on the CDC's watch. Furthermore, he criticized the agency's handling of the COVID pandemic and said some of these people have to go.
As the administration restricts access to COVID vaccines, Massachusetts Governor Maura Healey has announced measures to ensure their availability. Stacey Lynn reports.
Healey says the government is failing its responsibility to Americans.
This is not going to happen in Massachusetts.
She says insurance plans in her state
will continue to cover the vaccines recommended by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, regardless of what any other federal agency or appointee says.
And that includes the full range of recommended vaccines.
Flu, COVID, as well as children's vaccines like measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, and more.
The District of Columbia has sued over the deployment of National Guard troops in Washington. The Attorney General says it amounts to an involuntary military occupation. The man accused of 2 killings that helped spark the deployment was in court today, as Scott McFarland reports.
Elias Rodriguez, the suspected shooter of 2 Israeli embassy officials, has pleaded not guilty and asked for rights to a trial, which is tentatively scheduled for December, but I wouldn't put much stock in that. These things tend to get delayed by months, if not years, especially in high-profile cases, especially in cases where the Department of Justice could seek to pursue the death penalty through the federal court system.
Court documents released today show President Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton is being investigated for the possible unauthorized retention or removal of classified material. His home and office were searched last month. Mortgage rates have fallen again to 6.5%. That's the lowest since last October. On Wall Street today, stocks finished higher. The Dow Jones Industrial's up 350 points. The NASDAQ up by 209. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
TikTok may have stopped a potential school shooting. The story coming up, but first, Nate Connors is at the KIRO Newsradio Traffic Center.
Thanks, Heather. DR Horton has our update. In Puyallup, looks like all lanes are back open westbound 512 at Woodland Avenue, where fire crews put out a brush fire. They had all lanes blocked for a bit. That's why you're bumper to bumper at Meridian, but you'll clear out just as you round that South Hill curve. Eastbound 512 is pretty much cleared out now. Tacoma to Olympia has improved to 45 minutes, down from 55 minutes our last report. Just a brief backup near the JBLM main gate, and about a 3-mile backup now between Lacey and Olympia. Bellevue to Renton closing in on 20 minutes. It's slow, though, from I-90 all the way to Northeast 44th at the VMAC. No blocking problems, but we still have this disabled vehicle at Northeast 44th sitting in the Gore Point. South 5 crowded from Northgate into downtown Seattle. Linwood to Seattle's at 20 minutes. And through Lake Forest Park, State Route 104 is shut down at 35th Avenue through October 25th. You have a 1-mile detour around the work zone. With over 20 Puget Sound communities, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. Learn more at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Heather Bosch. A 16-year-old student has been arrested for allegedly threatening to shoot up Sequim High School. The FBI says it was contacted by TikTok, where the boy is accused of posting the threat. Clallam County Sheriff's deputies took the boy into custody at his home this morning. Bones found by searchers are providing no clue to where Travis Decker is. Tests showed they're not human. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says they were picked up during a recent grid search of the Leavenworth area campground, where the bodies of Decker's 3 young daughters were found in June.
Looking into similar cases, we found that historically and typically the youth found the homicide suspect and those responsible within a quarter mile of the scene, either alive and or deceased.
Investigators are examining other items recovered to see if they're related to the case. A wildfire sparked by lightning Sunday has blown up to more than 6,200 acres now in forest land about 25 miles northeast of Leavenworth. Mario Martinez watched as the fire surged overnight.
You could just see the whole sky was just like glowing red when it really caught fire, and it started. It was creating like its own thunder and lightning storm.
Level 3 get out now evacuations are in effect for parts of the town of Ardenvor. He knows of 10 to 15 families who've left. Washington Congresswoman Kim Schreier, a pediatrician, is among those calling for Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. to resign.
I want to be really clear that his theories are baseless and fringe, and that he cannot be trusted for 1 second.
More than 1,000 current and former HHS workers are demanding Kennedy's resignation, saying his vaccine and other policies are endangering public health. He denies that. The Seahawks kick off their 50th season this Sunday against the 49ers. But if you go to Lumen Field hungry, KIRO 7 TV's Brandon Thompson says you'd better bring extra cash.
Seahawks games featuring some of the priciest food in the NFL last year, according to sportscasting.com. A beer and hot dog combo costing nearly $20, $12 more than the cheapest combo in Atlanta.
We have a really good program here. We have value.
The value program started in the middle of last year. The 12s combo includes a $7 beer and $5 hot dog, but that value deal is still more expensive than regular prices at 7 NFL stadiums.
This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today with highs in the low 80s. It's 71 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the show. 1 hour just flew right by, as it tends to, between noon and 1 o'clock. Fastest hour of the day. I mean, technically, it's the exact same as every hour of the day, but it just feels fast because we're having fun. Time is flying. I came up with that. A lot of stuff to talk about in this hour. We're going to dive into some local health-related things, which is just the sexiest topic everybody wants to talk about. Washington, did you see this, Greg? Washington's Governor Bob Ferguson has said, he put out a statement. Was this just today he put this out? I think this was either today or yesterday. There's going to be a new health alliance with California and Oregon. This is what Governor Bob Ferguson posted. He said, Governor Newsom, Governor Kotek, and I launched a new West Coast Health Alliance today to ensure residents remain protected by science, not politics. The Trump administration has undermined the independence of the CDC and dismantled its vaccine panel. We're beginning the process to provide evidence-based recommendations regarding who should receive immunizations and to help ensure the public has credible information. Science drives our public health policy in Washington. So that's what Governor Bob Ferguson has to say. I don't know how that's yet going to take shape or what that's going to look like. It is interesting because this is one of those topics where when you dive into this with people about CDC things, the reason they're doing this is they're saying that RFK Jr. And the Trump administration has completely undermined the CDC, as if it has just for the last 5 years been the most trusted pinnacle of institutions. Which I would venture to guess. I can only express for myself how I feel about it. But I would venture to guess that most people listening have probably raised an eyebrow or two over the last, say, 5 years in regards to some of the things that have come out of the CDC's mouth. Like they'll say one thing out of one side, and then shortly after they'll say another thing. And it feels like you're getting sometimes contradictory advice. This was huge during the pandemic, especially during the early days when, I think probably many of them had good intentions, but they were not willing to listen to multiple points of view. And the emails have now been released to prove as such, trying to convince people that well-established scientists were fringe. And I don't think they did a very good job of letting people take in information and make a decision for themselves. And it felt like people didn't have much agency in what they wanted to do, because we were also like scared to death. Do you remember this, Doug?
I try to forget it. I try to memory hole a lot of the last 5 years.
It is
Jake, to be honest with you.
But it is surreal to look back on.
Yeah, I do
isn't
remember.
It?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I remember. Here's the thing this was like a watershed moment actually for my wife and I. We were watching. I don't remember what it was. It must have been in. It must have been after the vaccines were available. So that was what, late 21? When did the vaccines become available?
Where's the Google nader for that? Yeah, sounds about right.
Can you look that
2021.
up, Laura? When the vaccine first came onto the scene and it was people were finally able to get it. So we're watching this show. I don't remember what it was, but we're hunkering down, and we're in our house, and we see this ad from Washington State, and there was a young girl going around. This was you know what? Must have been 22, because this was like well into when the vaccine was already available. Enough so that we were watching this going, well, that's not true. We knew it wasn't true on its face. We're watching it not be true in real time. It was a young girl who must have been about, Laura's age, mid-20s, walking around, living life, healthy, fit, going to parties, having fun. She's going out meeting friends in the park. She's going to a restaurant to meet her friends for some sangria after work. She's then visiting grandma and having a coffee with grandma. Do you guys remember this ad? Does this strike any memory with you? And then at the end of the ad, what we learn is that she just gave COVID to every single person that she met and killed a good chunk of them. And then the end of the ad is her, the camera backs away, the camera pulls back, and we see her sitting in a hospital bed on a respirator. She's like supposed to be 23 years old or something. So that would have been an extremely rare case, unless she had some comorbidity thing, which she didn't appear to have in the ad. She was like a very healthy, vibrant young person. She's sitting in the hospital bed, and the implication is she's now dead. She's going to die now from this. And my wife and I are sitting there, we're watching, we're like, everybody knows that it can be risky for people above, like if you're over 65 and you have extra things, like definitely you should be mindful and be careful. But the healthy 22-year-old now on a respirator, and it felt like there wasn't information being presented as much as it was them trying to scare you into doing what they thought they wanted you to do.
Yeah.
Almost as if they said, you're too childish or dumb or whatever their assumption would be, for us to give you information, and instead we're just going to scare you into doing something, hoping that you do exactly as we tell you to do. Do you remember this feeling?
Oh, yeah, of course. And you're right to bring up this story of West Coast leaders sort of teaming up for this health alliance in context of COVID, because we're still feeling a lot of the aftershocks and the ripple effects of that once in a 100-year event, right?
Yeah.
And RFK Jr. Right now inhabits his position large in part because of his stances on how the CDC handled COVID and then gained favor with Trump. And now he's trying to clean house again, firing 17 experts on a vaccine committee, and
a bunch resigned too, like 5 resigned.
Here's what's important for listeners to know is that there's lots of states that have laws that are guided by vaccine recommendations from the CDC's advisory committee on immunizations. And so when you empower a lot of people that think like RFK Jr. does, that's going to impact laws in various states. And so these leaders on the West Coast and even some on the East Coast are getting together and saying, how can we maintain some of our old policies and laws while breaking apart from the federal government's guidance on this? Okay, so that's the broader context and what's important for listeners to know. But you're right to point out that that's when sort of a lack of trust in institutions really took on a whole new nature.
Yeah,
was around the time of COVID.
It might maybe politically for people who are not on the right side of things, that for them, the first taste that they maybe had that the CDC, they weren't trusting it anymore and the integrity of it might have been when RFK Jr was appointed. But for a lot of us, it was in the middle of the pandemic when they kept telling us, like, hey, you know what you need to do? You need to stick a mask on your infant. And if your infant doesn't keep a mask on, then we're going to kick you off a plane.
Yes.
Or you need to eat, or when you come into a restaurant, like this was one of my favorite ones. When you come into a restaurant, you need to have a mask on. But when you sit down, magically you can take your mask off. Do you remember this? These were like official recommendations. This is science that they're talking about. And so now Ferguson is now saying in his thing, science drives our public health policy in Washington. And the problem that I have with that is when they were fully in control of science in Washington, they still are, when they were, and it was lining up with what the administration that they liked was doing, you had stuff that didn't make any sense. And that's when people started to question it. Do you know how long Jay Inslee held on to executive, like, emergency powers in Washington State? Do you remember that?
Years.
Yeah. Nobody else in the country did that. And yet in our state, 975 days. Emergency powers, 975 days.
But isn't it equally fascinating and frustrating, Jake, that on both sides of the political spectrum, when talking about things like the First Amendment or the Bill of Rights and the sacredness of our founding documents and the Constitution and the law of the land or science, we are the party that adheres to science.
Yeah.
You get the same rhetoric from both sides,
yeah,
right? Because RFK Jr. firmly believes he is on the side of science. If you watched any of that hearing today in front of senators, which became extremely contentious, if you listen to him, I think sincerely he believes in his heart of hearts he is on the side of science and data. And then you get people like Ferguson and Newsom and these West Coast leaders saying, we are the party. And so if you're just an average citizen, how do you make sense of all this? Like, who do you trust? Because you have people saying the same thing that are diametrically opposed to each other in terms of their philosophy. And so much of this comes down to the big picture of who can you trust? What data can you trust? And do you have to trust the person it's emanating from, or the publication that it's coming from, or the party that it's coming from, and so on and so forth?
Here's what's super annoying about it is it's just this football that gets kicked back and forth depending on who's in power. And now suddenly, the CDC is compromised. And that's how the conservatives felt when Biden was running Fauci and all these guys, when he was saying, hey, one mask is great, but 3 would be better. So here is what I do find interesting. People will, I think they're going to do their best to try to sift through all of the noise, and they will try to make the best decisions based on the information that's available to them, even if they're trying to see through some of the scare tactics. Like, I'll tell you personally for myself, my wife and I got vaccinated when it became an option. Now, stupidly, we did the Johnson & Johnson one. Did you remember
my wife
that?
did the Johnson & Johnson one, yeah. I did the mRNA, yeah.
Okay, so we were like, this mRNA thing, we've read a lot about it. We're getting a lot of conflicting things. Maybe we'll wait for the Johnson & Johnson one because we were told it's more traditional, yada, yada. So we get it, and then the next day,
they're like, hold up.
Literally the next day, they're like, we're actually stopping these. We're not going to give any more of these.
It's like 10% effective or whatever, and furthermore, there's some side effects.
Furthermore, it's giving women over 30 strokes, and my wife's like, son of a, this is exactly what we didn't want. And so that was really tough. But they then were also making recommendations for kids, and they started recommending, they said, hey, these COVID vaccines are going to be available. At first, I think it was 14 and older, and then they kept lowering the age, and then they said down to 6 months maybe. I don't remember what the lowest threshold was, maybe even 3 months. But they said 6 months and older it's available for you to get, and we highly recommend it, and you should do it. What I found interesting, though, is I don't want to make you share this on the radio if you're not comfortable sharing.
Oh, here we go. Let's get into the good stuff.
Let's get into the good stuff. We made the decision with our kids. We said, listen, we'll do it for us. we'll be team players. We'll do it for us. And we were certainly scared to death. In retrospect, I'm not sure I would make the same exact decision, but we did get it at the time. And then we said, okay, let's talk about our kids. Because at the time I had, let's see, this was, when was this, 3 years ago? So at the time I had a 5-year-old, I had a 2-year-old, and I had a 4, 6, and 2, whatever, 4, 6, and 2. We made the decision that was too young. And there wasn't enough evidence and there wasn't enough data yet because they were still brand new. They're still like emergency declaration, whatever approved. And so we were like, you know what? We're not willing to take that risk for our kids because they're not in a high risk category. They're like statistically the very, very, very lowest of risks. These kids, they're just not ending up, as it was reported. They're not getting sick in the way that we feel like justifies giving them a untested vaccine. Now, talk to me again in 15 years. Whenever the length of time it is, when it finally gets like actual FDA approval and everybody feels pretty good about it. I'm not an anti-vaccine person, but that was a decision we made for our kids at the time.
Yeah.
And the majority of parents actually made that same decision. Which I was kind of shocked by because I was reading about it and I was like, I wonder how many people, it was almost like something you didn't talk about. You'd be like, you can't ask people if they vaccinated their kids because like you don't want to put them on the spot. And then the more people I talked to about it, they would say, you know what, we got vaccinated, but our kids, this is something that we were more sensitive to, and we weren't ready to do it. And so do you guys, what was your situation?
Yeah.
If you don't mind sharing.
No, it's a great question. And it has a big impact and implications the way you answer any of these questions. But our posture as a family at the time and continues to be, and perhaps this harkens back to our family being a family of faith and the concept of like we see through a glass darkly, right? We're not all knowing. We don't have it all figured out.
Sure.
And so during the time of COVID, a once in 100-year pandemic, everybody was rushing out to sort of make very definitive statements. Mm-hmm. And so we always proceeded with cautions on both sides of the sweeping statements. In other words, there's nothing to worry about, or we got to worry about every single little thing.
Yes.
And we sort of went, well, we're kind of taking a middle of the road. We don't fully know. I don't even think the doctors fully know. I think they know more than us, for sure. And at the same time, like, we're going to check competing sources and we'll see if certain things align. And so when it came to the biggest question of all, which was like, do you get vaccinated at the time? Me being an overweight 40-something, I was hearing stories of people who would get COVID at around my age with my health conditions having very bad outcomes. Some people dying that I knew, friends of friends. And so the second that mRNA vaccine became available, I went, I'm going to make the decision that I want to get that thing right away.
Sure.
I don't want to mess with COVID. I've seen that it's real. I have family in medicine who could attest to cases that they had seen in the ICU and the ER. And I went, I'm not messing around with this thing. I'm getting the vaccine. I got one booster. Now, in terms of my kids, made a very similar decision to what you made. And I used to follow, and I still do, I followed Evergreen Health's Instagram page. And they would release a chart. I don't even know if it was daily or weekly, but it was a little infograph on who was in the hospital with COVID, who's in the ICU, male or female, and their age group.
Sure.
And I thought, that's a pretty trustworthy source here locally. That's just, a few minutes, from where we live or whatever. And I trust these people that work at this institution.
It just it gives you some sense of insight, like real numbers that you can understand.
And it's locally here. And so I went, that's a trustworthy source. And regularly, it was all people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who were in the ICU. A few people who had been admitted to like the ER were in their 40s. And there was almost never any kids under 15 or 20 that were in the hospital for a long-term stay. So I went, if that's the case, where there's regularly no kids showing up on these infographs, in our family, I don't think it's necessary to get our kids vaccinated. It just doesn't seem warranted. And why would we pursue that?
Was that a question that you and your wife wrestled with? Because it was for us.
We
thought about it for a while.
Yeah, we discussed that for a long time. But again, the data was just not showing, one, that it was good to keep schools closed. We knew that instantly. Like, kids are not having bad impacts here. And can I tell you another anecdote that really kind of opened my eyes on this, Jake?
Can we take a quick pause and come back to it? But I feel like there's like a therapy session happening. We're like getting stuff out.
Well, and people might say, why are you talking about this as 3 years ago? And it's, again, we're still feeling the impacts of this today and sort of the increase in distrust in institutions and people and a further fracturing on a partisan level of the country. And now you're seeing governors align against the CDC. I think we're going to see more of this in a future administration as well.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Where it's just we have left-wing science and right-wing science. And that's problematic.
That's super problematic. I totally agree. All right, hit us up on the text line. Let us know how you guys feel about it and what you did. 888-973-5476. All right, we'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Hey everyone, Hartley Wilcox here. And I'm Charlie Wilcox from Wilcox Family Farms. Our family's been raising hens and gathering fresh eggs right here for over 100 years.
That's right. Our hens roam free on green pastures, soaking up the sunshine and living their best chicken lives.
We don't do shortcuts. No cages, no chemicals, just honest-to-goodness eggs laid fresh every day.
And when you buy Wilcox eggs, you're not just getting breakfast. You're supporting local farmers like us, clean food, and a family that's been doing it right for generations.
So next time you're at the grocery store,
skip the out-of-state eggs and grab the ones with our name on them.
Wilcox Family Farms. Fresh, local, trusted. Find fresh Wilcox eggs at Fred Meyer, QFC, or Amazon Fresh. And for a healthy snack on the go, grab some ready-to-eat hard-boiled eggs in a convenient to-go 2-pack. Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh since 1909.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence in your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
The 7500 EV tax credit expires on September 30th, so head to Carter Volkswagen, Subaru, or Acura today. Discover their great selection, discounts, and financing offers now on the 2025 ID4 or the all-new ID Buzz from Carter Volkswagen, the 2025 Solterra from Carter Subaru, and the 2025 Acura ZDX at Carter Acura. The tax credit is ending soon, so hurry into Carter Motors or visit them at carterseattle.com.
All for unleased vehicles only. Not all buyers will qualify. See store for details.
The absolute best savings on a hot tub aren't at the fair. They're at Olympic Hot Tub. Get a truly untoppable deal. Purchase a saltwater hot spring spa and get a Lux Smart Top hardcover free. OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Critics of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. did not hold back at a Senate committee hearing with the U.S. Health Secretary. Among them was Washington Senator Maria Cantwell.
Sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are. You're the ones who conflate chronic disease with the need for vaccines.
More from CBS's Michael Wallace.
Kennedy began his appearance by defending the moves made under him so far, including last week's firing of the head of the CDC and changes to vaccine recommendations.
We at HHS are enacting a once-in-a-generation shift from a sick care system to a true health care system that tackles the root causes of chronic disease.
Oregon Democratic Senator Ron Wyden.
This set of changes is going to damage American healthcare, and particularly these healthcare agencies, for decades to come.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Hawaii is joining the newly formed West Coast Health Alliance. The state says it's teaming up with Washington, California, and Oregon to deliver their own guidance on vaccines separate from the CDC suggestions. Those governors say they want to protect public health by keeping politics out of vaccine recommendations. Not clear whether health insurance plans will cover those shots recommended by the alliance, but not by the CDC. Now to the closing bell reports. A new analysis by the state claims over 30,000 jobs in Washington could be lost by 2029 due to tariffs. The Office of Financial Management just published that report today. Governor Bob Ferguson says it also found grocery prices could rise by more than 15% over the next 4 years.
We also predict a 7% spike in the cost of clothes and shoes in the next year, a 14% increase in natural gas prices, which of course push up utility bills.
Right now, the Trump administration is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn a recent lower court ruling that found the president's tariffs are unconstitutional. On Wall Street today at the close, solid gains. The Dow up 350, S&P ahead by 54, NASDAQ gained 209. Now to the real-time traffic desk coming up on 1:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. AAA has our update. Let's start down in South Hill, westbound 512. We are improving, but still slow through that South Hill curve there, 31st Avenue, over to Woodland Avenue, where an earlier brush fire had all westbound lanes closed for a bit. Lanes are back open, and this backup is close to clearing out. It was bumper to bumper back at Meridian. Southbound 167 beginning to fill in between Algona and Sumner. Tacoma to Olympia still looking good at 40 minutes. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you 20. It's slow from South Bellevue now down to the VMAC. South 5 into Seattle crowded from Lake City Way into downtown. Linwood to Seattle has gone up just a tad to 25 minutes. North 5 is looking good, and both of our lake bridges are wide open. AAA Washington's all-new everyday membership gives you discounts and perks at more than 900 local businesses, all for just $25 per year. Join today. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Some hazy skies today along with sunshine. Air quality issues east of the Cascades for the most part. Slightly better air quality for tomorrow and also into the weekend. We have some cooler weather and even a few showers in the forecast. Right now, though, again, it is a little smoky out there and 73 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. I forgot Jason Rance was coming in, so we were going to have a Greg anecdote, but actually we're going to move over to Jason because he's got
How dare you?
We'll save yours for later. But Jason Rance from Seattle Red 770 AM joins us now. Jason, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
You have a very good story. It's a very important story, I think, and it's on mynorthwest.com. It's on seattlered.com. I saw it in both places. But seattlered.com is where people can read this. There was a drug-dependent baby organization, right, that gave help to babies who were addicted to drugs at birth.
Yes.
In Kent, that was shut down by Governor Bob Ferguson. Is that correct?
It lost its funding from the state, meaning they're no longer getting in patients. And this is specifically the Pediatric Interim Care Center, PIC, in Kent.
Tell us a little bit about why they lost their funding. And the headline of the story kind of caught my attention, that the state, that the agency who cut their funding didn't even give us some of this information.
Yeah, so the Department of Children, Youth, and Families have been, as an agency under Bob Ferguson, defending the decision to cut funding specifically to this center. And they did so for two big reasons, and I've got some of the emails behind the scenes quoted in this piece at seattlered.com. The first one, we're in the middle of a budget crisis, thus we can't spend the very low six figures to save these children, and they didn't necessarily agree fully with the scope of the work that PIC is doing. They don't think they're following the appropriate therapy to help these kids, despite the fact that PIC in Kent is world-renowned. It's world-renowned for the work that they are doing. And when they made this decision, a Democrat was among those who were pushing back behind the scenes. Mari Levitt, a state representative from University Place, saying, why would you do this? This doesn't really make sense.
Why would you shut this down?
How many beds do you have available for babies who are born to drug-addicted mothers? Because obviously she's concerned there's not going to be any space. And it became clear from the series of emails, they have no idea. They don't track this. And it took them several weeks before they were even able to finally get me an answer, because it's now tracked by the Department of Health, kinda, sorta, but still not by DCYF, which is responsible for the care of kids in situations where their parents are drug addicts.
Yeah.
And it turns out across the state, there are only 2 facilities, and they only have space for 31 children. That's it.
And those are the ones that are officially run
These
or
are
sanctioned
the
by
ones
the state.
that are licensed by Department of Health and given the green light to take these children from hospitals once they're ready to be transferred over.
And again, the Pediatric Interim Care Center, the PIC in Kent, how many beds did they have available? Do you remember?
I don't remember off the top of my head. They had at least a couple dozen beds available. This is, again, you're kind of in a spot where with only 31, you would say we should have qualified people taking care of these children. Unfortunately, we've seen over the course of the last several years, since, frankly, drug legalization in Washington state, or decriminalization, we've seen an increase in overdose deaths and near deaths of children. Yeah. And we've obviously had a growing addiction problem. We're no longer taking away kids from households with drug-addicted parents just as a matter of policy. The Democrats changed the law when it comes to that. And so we clearly have this need. Why are we saying no to these folks who, and I'll say this, there's bipartisan support to keep the funding going. And this was a decision that the governor made with DCYF. And kudos to Democrats like Mari Levitt, who are saying, hold on. No, this is not appropriate.
Jason, I think so many of people's problems in their personal lives and so many problems with government amount to disordered priorities. So if you put so much emphasis on climate change and combating climate change and less emphasis on law and order and getting rid of the bad guys, it's a disordered priority, right? And so I'm thinking about, in terms of this story, and you're right up at SeattleRed.com here, where does this rank on the government's priority scale? And I think you're kind of making the case in your piece here that in terms of the budget and funding and so on, you would argue that there needs to be a hatchet taken to the state budget and not just the scalpel here. But this is one thing that got caught up in budget cuts where it's like, hey, this should have been a higher priority to keep this thing running.
Yes, but although I would say this wasn't really caught up in the traditional sense because it wasn't the legislature that was saying we need to cut the funding here. It was the governor who made this decision with DCYF funding that it doles out. And that's a little bit different, and it makes it a little bit trickier, right? Because it's certainly easier for an individual constituent to call up their lawmaker in Sultan, the gem of Snohomish County, or in Tacoma, et cetera, right? And you can have more influence versus calling up the governor's office or calling up DCYF, which doesn't really care for you to call. They're not going to take your call. It's so much easier. So that's why legislatively, long term, this can hopefully be fixed. The problem is, of course, we've got a part-time legislature, which means they're not doing anything right now, and the governor refuses to backtrack.
Now, there's the PIC is not closed, right? They can still
It's still open.
It's still open,
but they're just not getting children via the state.
Okay, so
they're hanging on for now, and they're taking donations
until hopefully the state can reverse course and see the error in their ways.
Now, how long they have to last, I don't know.
It is interesting because we're talking about this is a health decision. These kids are at the very start of life, and they're in the most precarious of situations. Why would you shut down a facility who has special skills to deal with these kids who have these? There's nothing sadder than a way to start life with a kid who's made no choice to be addicted to drugs and is born addicted to drugs. What a tragic situation. And for the state to say, hey, you know what, we're going to make sure that no money gets to this organization, doesn't make any sense. And we're in the middle of talking about this health alliance they're going to be doing now with these 3 different states. And isn't this one of those things that we would have to say, hey, you know what? Oh, go ahead.
The Trump administration comes out and says, we're going to cut waste from Medicare, and Democrats go nuts. Bob Ferguson went nuts. How dare you? You are cutting essential services. No, actually, you, Governor Ferguson, are cutting essential services to these children.
Really quick non sequitur, although maybe tangential because it's still in the realm of health. Did you get to catch any of the RFK Jr. Senate hearing today about some of the perceived chaos at the CDC? Did you think it was just merely full of grandstanding and speechifying, or was there any real substance to any of the hearings?
There was no substance I figured out. Look, we got a bunch of lawmakers who were looking for, a soundbite, a gotcha moment they can post online. You charlatan! Okay, we got it. There was some substance, and I will say, because for RFK Jr., I'm totally on board with the criticism of his takes on vaccines more generally. I think he's said some crazy things and believes some crazy things.
Yeah.
That does not mean that everything he says and everything he believes is crazy or wrong. And it also doesn't mean that every decision he makes is going to lead to the end of the world as we know it. If every single thing that's done by this administration is going to end the world, then nothing is going to end the world. They've said this every single day. And with all due respect to the Washington, California, Oregon Health Alliance you just referenced, those are the people who told us not to go outside during COVID, that kids who are 3 years old have to wear a mask. They told us
2 masks.
2 masks. They told us multiple things about the vaccine that wasn't just false, but they continue to claim something that was provably false wasn't, and they gaslit and destroyed people who got in the way. I think those are not the people I would necessarily trust on any of this.
It drives me crazy.
But otherwise,
honestly,
they're all really amazing people who are dedicated to the community, and they've got our best interests in mind.
And the best of intentions. All right, that's Jason Rantz over there at Seattle Red 770 AM. Check him out, The Jason Rantz Show. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you.
All right, we got a lot more coming up. We should play some of those RFK clips. RFKJ. They're pretty fiery, some back and forth. There's some good gotcha moments. So we'll play some of those. Stick around. Be right back.
The closing bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital Common Sense Lending.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
One thing you can always count on is a change in the weather. Time to protect your home now with the help from the pros at Integrity Roofing and Construction. With years of experience in roofing and restoration, their skilled team delivers exceptional craftsmanship, whether it's a simple roof repair or a full renovation. Integrity offers free estimates, and their customer satisfaction speaks for itself. Don't wait until the next storm hits. Schedule your free estimate today. Call Integrity at 206-202-ROOF or visit online at integrityrc.com. That's integrityrc.com.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up, like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE. Go to k2visionrle.com and schedule a free Zoom consultation today. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Permanently.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return.
But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome back to the show. We have a ton of audio from this Senate grilling of RFKJ that happened today. Should we play some of these audio cuts, Greg? And
which one's the hottest? I think I saw some.
Laura, you pulled these.
Contentious exchanges between Bernie Sanders and RFK Jr. There was Elizabeth Warren.
Let's start with the Bernie Sanders. Let's get some spiciness.
Little Bernie, little Vermont
Let's
versus
get some hot
the Kennedy family.
Hot Cheetos and Takis. Face off here. All right, here it is. This is RFKJ. You'll know him by the sultry sound of his voice, and Bernie Sanders. Let's say Sanders,
who you'll also know by the sultry sound of his voice.
Both have very dulcet tones.
I would love if these two guys could also read books on tape.
Christmas album, maybe?
Christmas albums. That would be a tough read.
I think that's what you put on tape to torture inmates at Guantanamo.
Yeah.
President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called...
All right, that's just a funny idea. Now that I said it out loud, Bernie Sanders should actually read some books out loud. I don't know, and RFKJ also. And please suggest us in the audience, 888-973-5476. Which classics would you like to hear these two guys read out loud? All right, here we go.
COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern-day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe that the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made?
No, first of all, I didn't say that. I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right? Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine, which perfectly matched the virus that was circulating then, and I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
This was sort of a regular occurrence at the hearing today where Democrat senators tried to point out an inherent contradiction or a flaw in some of RFK's past statements, which is, RFK being a member of Trump's cabinet is clearly trying to praise him every step of the way he gets. I mean, you've seen some of those cabinet meetings where they just lavish praise
Mr.
on
President,
Donald Trump. Right.
Your stalwart leadership has led to the capture of,
And Trump was instrumental in Operation Warp Speed, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. And Trump lauded the vaccine once upon a time. RFKJ has taken a very different stance. So they're saying, aren't those two viewpoints you have espoused opposed to each other? And then RFK routinely kind of tries to thread the needle in some of his verbiage.
This is a follow-up that Sanders had to RFKJ. Here we go.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Just kidding.
What? Wait, what?
Do you remember that? When he was grilling him one time during his confirmation hearings, he was up in front of it because he had like a
wasn't he selling a onesie?
He had
on
a onesie
website?
on a website that was like I don't remember what the context was.
Don't get the jab or something like that.
Some anti-vax thing and
Did you not support?
Were you supportive of these onesies? Were you supportive?
That's a better impression.
Call me Ishmael. He should read all classic books. It should be read by Bernie Sanders. All right. This was Washington Senator Maria Cantwell, who
just came out and said it, Jake. She just came out
and said it. She said, I got a word of the day calendar, and I'm going to use it today.
Scathing critique.
You canceled $500 million of research because the mRNA technology is about continuing the research to be ready for the next flu, influenza, the next pandemic, and you have to do the research.
I'm happy to have a detailed discussion with you about it. You're so wrong on your facts.
You're interrupting me, and sir, you're a charlatan. That's what you are. You're the ones who conflate chronic disease with the need.
Let me play this one from Elizabeth.
No, you cut out the part where RFK Jr. says, "I'm rubber, you're glue. What you say about me bounces off me and sticks to you."
Sticks to you.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Yes, Bernie. He supports the onesies. Good Lord. All right, this was Elizabeth Warren, who she asked him some questions, and they yelled at each other, and they both got some moments on the internets, and this is what that sounded like. Oh, here it is. Sorry.
Most Americans will be able to get it from their pharmacy
the question is everyone who wants it. That was your promise.
I didn't. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Did you hold up a big sign saying that you were lying when you said that? Because you are the one who said you would not take them away. Now, Senator Kennedy,
I'm not taking them away from anybody.
Secretary,
you want me to indicate a product for which there is no clinical data?
Senator,
is that what you want?
Secretary Kennedy, you said you wouldn't, and now you did.
I'm not taking them away. Everybody can get access to them.
Greg, in the last 30 seconds that we have here, do you think that is a point that's being lost on people? Everything I'm seeing is like, oh, he's taking away all the vaccines. People can't get vaccines. And not recommending and taking away are two different things, right?
Yes, but as we said in the previous segment, that a lot of state laws are tied to recommendations from the CDC.
Sure.
So now there's been kind of an untethering of the two. You're seeing that now with the West Coast like Governors Alliance here, the Health Alliance that they're talking about now, which is saying, well, we can no longer base some of our laws and our guidance on recommendations from the CDC. We have to handle this more locally.
Gotcha. All right, a lot more coming up. Fiery conversations that Greg and I will have, and we'll call each other names, and it'll be tons of fun. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Are you supportive of these onesies?
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Saving for retirement was tough enough for us.
Yes, and navigating markets can be challenging at times.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we take a disciplined approach with your investments.
Tell us more about that.
We take an active approach to money management, positioning your portfolio for opportunities we see ahead.
So all your clients get the same portfolio?
No, we tailor your portfolio to your individual goals and needs.
What about communication? We don't like being left in the dark.
We check in regularly to keep you informed on the markets and your portfolio.
Which means you'll help us stay on track.
Yes, our goal is your comfortable retirement. And as a fiduciary, we always put your interests first, because we do better when you do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale. Now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-298-7906. 800-298-7906.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. I'm so excited to have my cousin Amelia with me today. So, how many chickens do you think there are on the farm?
3,000?
What do you think chickens eat?
Grass.
What else?
Seed.
So, do you know what organic eggs are?
The ones that you put in brownies?
Yes, the ones you put in brownies.
We hope to choose fresh eggs from our family farm.
Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh
since 1909.
Citizens, since we each upgraded to Xfinity in our homes, the Wi-Fi has been booming. It's fair to say our town has officially become a boomtown.
Mayor, will I be able to drop into multiplayer gaming battles with low lag?
The lag won't be an issue, but your questionable skills may be.
And what if I have hundreds of devices on the Wi-Fi? Purely hypothetical.
Seems like a lot, but sure, hundreds of devices all booming together with the Xfinity Gateway. Yes, friends and neighbors, with Xfinity, the Wi-Fi is booming.
The Wi-Fi isn't the only thing that's booming. Now get the most reliable Wi-Fi and our best-in-class equipment for one consistent price for 5 years guaranteed. All in. Plus, get unlimited data included and no annual contract. All with the 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. New residential customers only. Select plans only. Xfinity Gateway with Xfi Complete required for unlimited data except in certain areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. Actual speeds vary.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faced some heated questions from lawmakers today over his COVID-19 policies and the firings at the CDC.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at the CDC. They did not do their job. This was their job to keep us healthy.
Thank you.
And I need to fire some of those people to make sure this doesn't happen again.
I'm Michael Wallace. The Congressional Democratic Doctors Caucus is calling for Kennedy to resign or be fired. New Jersey Congressman Dr. Herb Conaway.
He has failed in his principal duty to protect the American people.
Oregon Congresswoman Dr. Maxine Dexter.
I cannot and will not stay silent while our public health institutions are dismantled.
Georgia Senator John Ossoff echoed the doctors' concerns.
It is one thing to be a skeptic or a reformer. It is quite another to be a fool.
President Trump's choice to fill an unexpired term at the Fed also took grilling on Capitol Hill. Linda Kenyon reports.
Stephen Myron says he believes in the independence of the Fed.
The Federal Open Market Committee is an independent group with a monumental task, and I intend to preserve that independence.
Myron also said he will not resign from his current role as senior White House economic advisor. This led Senator Elizabeth Warren to question his independence.
Can you say the words Donald Trump lost that election? Are you independent enough to say that?
The Congress certified Joe Biden as president.
All right,
of the United States.
so that was one. Let's try another.
President Trump has criticized the Fed, which has not lowered interest rates.
The Justice Department has issued subpoenas in its investigation into mortgage fraud allegations against Fed Governor Lisa Cook. The District of Columbia sued the administration today over the deployment of National Guard troops. The National Guard commander said today the mission has been extended for some Guard members.
I've made the decision to extend the encampment as we continue to work to ensure that everyone that walks through these city streets is safe.
Famed designer Giorgio Armani has died.
Born in a small Italian town in 1934, Armani thought of becoming a doctor before the world of fashion captured his imagination. In 1975, he founded his own design house and soon reinvented the suit. By removing inner linings, he shaped a new silhouette, the power suit that became a uniform for fashionable men and women in the 1980s.
I have a closet full still of those beautiful suits, those classic suits, and I still wear them.
Armani's eye and his savvy business moves built an enduring global brand.
Correspondent Bradley Blackburn. Armani was 91 years old. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
How long until these hazy skies start to clear? The answer is coming up after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Up in Everett, eastbound 526. You're heavy leaving the Bowen plant, heading over to I-5. Linwood to Seattle, 25 minutes. You're wide open until you reach the Ship Canal Bridge, and then from there, it's slow down to I-90. South 405 slows from Factoria down to the VMAC. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you 25 minutes. Both lake bridges remain wide open in both directions. Southbound 167 still crowded through Algona into Sumner, starting to get a little thicker now. Tacoma to Olympia has taken 45 minutes. And the Edmonds Ferry Terminal reporting a 1-hour wait for drivers. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granello. Wildfire smoke still lingers across the state today. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports it'll be hanging around for a bit longer.
Things are a little hazy in the Seattle area, but it's much worse in central and eastern Washington, where all counties are under air quality alerts. Beth Friedman with the Washington State Department of Ecology says light winds are keeping smoke trapped.
So the smoke just sits and mixes together and doesn't really move around or go anywhere.
She says cooler weather may start slowing down the fire activity, but the smoke's going to be around for several days. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
A lightning-caused wildfire that sparked on Sunday has now grown to more than 6,200 acres. It's burning about 25 miles northeast of Leavenworth. Mario Martinez watched as the fire surged overnight.
You could just see the whole sky was just like glowing red when it really caught fire.
Right now, level 3 get out now evacuations are in effect near the town of Ardenvohr. A 16-year-old student's in custody today, accused of threatening to attack Sequim High School. FBI says TikTok flagged a post where the boy wrote he was going to shoot up the school tomorrow. Clallam County Sheriff's deputies said they tracked that post to a home and arrested the students early this morning. Seattle police say an armed man accidentally shot himself after threatening people near 10th and Pike on Capitol Hill. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
SPD says it happened just before 2 a.m., some kind of altercation on the street between the man and 3 other men. SPD Detective Brian Pritchard says the 3 men were trying to disarm the man when he accidentally shot himself in the chest.
He's in Harborview Medical Center in serious condition, and he is actually under arrest. When he leaves and he's discharged from there, he'll be taken to King County Jail.
The 26-year-old man is expected to be charged with felony harassment. James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Well, don't be shocked to see a lot of red and gold at Lumen Field this Sunday. According to Vivid Seats fan forecast, 49ers fans will outnumber the 12s at the Seahawks opener. It projects 53% of the crowd will be cheering on San Francisco this Sunday. Weather forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are hazy today again with air quality alerts for pretty much all of eastern Washington. Not quite as bad here on the western side of the state. Should start to see some better air quality by the weekends. Right now, 75 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granello, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the show. 2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Just flying by. Mostly because Greg Tomlin is here, and he's just a blast to talk to. Greg,
thank you, brother.
It's been a fun show. I've been enjoying it. Fun week.
Yeah, likewise. Short week, which has also flown by.
Yeah, short weeks are the best.
Friday Eve already. I can't believe it.
It's best of the best. We love it. All right, a lot of stuff to get to. This one, I mean, if you're a parent with a kid in school, you got this pulled at my heartstrings. Parents in Seattle are facing a really tough choice between having to send their kids off to school, not knowing what they're going to walk through or what they might encounter. And in this guy's case, he ended up having to quit his job because he was afraid of his kids not being able to get to school safely. This happened to Travis Daniels. His kids go to Robert Eaglestaff Middle School in Seattle. Como had the story, and they talked to this guy, and he details that his kids had to cross Aurora. When's the last time you drove through Aurora?
It's been a while. Yeah, careful how you answer that question, right?
Yeah.
No, back in my card counting days, like 10, 12 years ago, there's
People don't know that about you.
lot of casinos on Aurora Avenue that used to have very good rules for card counters. And so I would go there to play a blackjack, and a bit dicey. You take a turn here, a turn there, and go,
Pun intended.
There's clearly criminal activity happening right in front of me, and can't do anything about it. And I guess this is just an accepted practice everywhere around
in
Aurora,
Seattle,
which is wild to me.
Laura, do you cross Aurora much? You try to avoid it, or is it?
I grew up in Lake City Way, so not that far. I used to have choir practice over there in one of the churches. When my car was towed a little while ago, I had to go retrieve it at night from a tow lot on Aurora. And
sketchy.
Literally thought I was going to get stabbed. It's like easily one of the scariest situations I've been in recent memory.
That's horrifying. It's horrible that a city could allow such a giant, important road to become infested with this problem.
Lots of businesses there. And like this story points out, schools.
Listen to this guy, and then I'll tell you my personal anecdote of my recent crossing of Aurora, which happened last weekend? Yeah, last weekend. I was shocked because I like you, Greg, I don't live downtown anymore, and so I don't have a reason to be driving over. I used to live in Green Lake for years, so I'd pass Aurora all the time, and I just don't have to cross it much anymore. Anecdotally, I've been hearing stories about how bad it's gotten, but I didn't really know how bad it's gotten until you see it with your own eyes.
Yeah.
But listen to this guy. Listen to this impossible situation he's in. His kids have to walk to school. They're too close to get bus service. You know, like a lot of schools, like if you're within a mile or whatever the distance is, then they won't pick you up on the bus. And so you have to get them there yourselves, or the kids have to walk on their own.
And a lot of parents have jobs that conflict with
most
the
people have
ability
jobs
to drive their kids to school.
So listen to this. This is Travis Daniels talking to Como. Oh, audio. That's me. Here we go.
And that was just a painful, but I had to choose my daughter over money any day of the week, any time, to know that my daughter knows about human trafficking, school shootings. It just breaks my heart. What this is about children getting to school safely and getting home safely. That's all it is.
That's bare minimum. People shouldn't have to worry about that. Seattle is a super wealthy city where it's not Chicago. We shouldn't be dealing with these issues. Chicago shouldn't be dealing with those issues, obviously. Those are leadership problems. They need to fix whatever's going wrong there. They tried soap and soda. The stay out of downtown, what does SODA stand for again? Stay out of downtown areas of prostitution?
Stay out of drugs area? I'll look it up.
What's the soap one? No, the soap one is the prostitute one. Stay out of prostitution areas or areas of prostitution? Yeah, prostitution areas of prostitution. So SODA is stay out of downtown.
I got it right. Stay out of drug areas.
Drug areas.
Well, so last year the Seattle City Council passed an ordinance targeting loitering related to prostitution and drug activity.
Tried to give these things some teeth, yeah.
Apparently, there's been around 31 criminal cases now in the city attorney's office. 23 active court orders for individuals arrested on these kind of charges related to Aurora Avenue here. But if you talk to locals, it hasn't even really made a dent in the problem.
Of course not. No, I could have counted 31 cases when I was just driving. So we were driving over to pick up some friends. My wife had her high school reunion last weekend. And so or maybe 2 weekends ago, the last couple of weeks, we're driving from I-5 over toward Magnolia to pick up some friends and then head off to the high school reunion. So we have to pass Aurora, and we drive over the road, and we arrive at the stoplight, and I'm looking out my window at a gas station, which looked like, I'm not even joking, all my references are movies, but do you remember Back to the Future 2, where he goes to like Biff's Bizarro World, where everything is upside down and crime is crazy, and there's just like bad dudes driving around on motorcycles? That would have been
Strickland!
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that would have been more desirable. Because at least you were in Biff's world. I don't know why it's more desirable. It looked like that. It looked like Crazy Town. And while we were standing there, my wife and I are watching the end of I don't know that it was a prostitute situation, but I saw a lady who was carrying her belongings in a black garbage bag who was wearing very little clothing get out of a truck, walk across a parking lot, and kind of stand there. And this all happened at a stoplight. And then somebody else came around and propositioned her, and they walked behind the gas station. And my wife and I are like, please turn green, please turn green, please turn green. There's drug deals happening. We're watching this in real time. And I'm just like, why, oh, why is this happening? I can see this
We all know it's happening.
We all know it's happening.
See it. It's not a big secret.
Why aren't they stopping it? Illegal activities. Why aren't they stopping it?
That's the $64,000 question. And look, you brought up the Trump administration and what it's planning on doing in Chicago with, National Guard, federal troops. I don't know what the exact plan looks like. And it's interesting to see state leaders react to Trump on this. And Donald Trump Jr. has sort of hinted at the idea of, hey, Trump might move into the Seattle area and even Portland because they have real crime problems of their own. I was really fascinated to see a quote from David Axelrod today on CNN, Jake, and I want to get your reaction to this. He was a former advisor to Barack Obama. Yeah. And Democrats are sort of wrestling with how do you deal with the Trump administration's posture on this, because law and order is a winning issue for him right now. And you might disagree with the methods, but on the surface, it appears this is the guy who's tough on crime, and Democrats are looking soft on crime if they oppose him in any way. And here's what David Axelrod said.
Careful about playing 28 politics on this issue, because the right answer is we'll take all the help we can get as long as it's appropriate help, as long as it's stuff that will really help. I mean, these National Guardsmen aren't even trained to do that work. They're not authorized to do that work. So, send us the resources that we need. We want to work with you. If there are if there are people doing violent crimes here who are illegal immigrants, we want them out of our city. We'll work with you on that. I think that's the appropriate position to take.
Do you think there's any remote possibility Democrat governors and mayors and so on might take that line of reasoning?
No, although they should. It would be really smart. It would completely deflate this whole Trump is the only person who cares about crime. Obviously, they must care about crime. Everybody knows that crime is bad. It's bad for your political numbers. It's bad for the residents.
Bad for kids walking to school.
Bad for kids walking to school. But yeah, to take the other side of that issue and to say, like, we're not going to have anybody come in here and clean up our streets. It's a bad place to be. I think Axelrod's very smart in saying, like, hey, you know what? In a targeted way, we'll take all the resources because everybody's stretched thin. A lot of these states have huge budget deficits. In Washington, what are we, $16 billion in debt? They don't have money for these types of things. And they're sacrificing. They shouldn't be sacrificing public safety, but it seems like they are.
But here's what I'll say. It's a bit of a catch-22 for the party that opposes Trump, because if they say, we don't want your help, whatever, they look weak on crime, right? Okay, I'm just making broad sweeping statements. But on the other hand, if they say, okay, we want your help, it's sort of a tacit, implicit admission. Yeah. We have mishandled this situation. We actually can't handle it on our own, and we want to work with you. Come in and help us because you can do it better. So it's sort of a lose-lose. Say what you will about Trump's opinion of the Constitution or delegated authority to the executive branch of the government. The guy knows how to play the game very strategically.
I think that's a big part of it. This was a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But they seem to be falling right into it. And so, but when we have stories locally here, like this guy who had to quit his job so his daughter could get to school safely,
right,
then Seattle's got real problems that they need to figure out. They need to solve.
That they haven't to this point.
It would be nice. How many days do we have before the next mayoral election? What are we down to, like 50-something days? What is it? When is the next?
Almost 2 months exactly.
Almost 2 months exactly. Yeah. 60 days exactly, maybe tomorrow, right? Because isn't it November 5th? Why isn't, here's my question for you. Why isn't, and I don't live in Seattle for this very reason. This is the reason my wife and I, when we had our first child, we were here. He was the little angel had arrived, and we are loving life, and we're living in Green Lake, and it's very expensive. So obviously, financially, it's not a great situation for a lot of folks. But I'm at work. My wife is walking him through the park, and what are they seeing? Horrible things. And so we made this, we said, listen, we can't raise kids here. This is not a place that we want to raise kids. We don't want them to be exposed to these types of very dark parts of life at such a young age, and so we're going to make the decision to go somewhere else. It's going to mean that I have a longer commute. It's a sacrifice. It ended up being a situation that we really are thrilled that we did because, we found a different neighborhood that we really like, a different city that we really love. And so people are having to make that decision because the cities are not safe for families. It would be really smart. This would be my suggestion to Mayor Bruce Harrell, who's running, and who I have no skin in the game. I can't vote for him because I don't live in Seattle. He should become really, really hard on crime for the next 2 months. He should make a bold statement that he's going to stop this ridiculousness that's happening in town. And he should be the opposite of what Katie Wilson, who right now is likely going to beat him, he should be the opposite of what she would do with crime. And he should just establish himself as like the hard on crime guy. Do you think that would work for him?
It's an appealing message to guys like us, but as far as the Seattle constituency,
let me ask a Seattle constituent who's not a guy
that he needs to make overtures to.
Laura, can I ask you a question?
Laura, be representative here, Laura.
Well, she lives in Seattle, and she's a woman, and she thinks maybe she's a little different politically.
You are progressive.
She's a little different politically than I am, which is great, which is why we enjoy each other's company so much. Would it be appealing to you if one of these two candidates came out and said, you know what, enough is enough. We don't want people doing drugs. We don't want people on the streets feeling like they can't walk their kids to school. What would you think of that?
I'm a little bit torn. I think it depends a lot on the implementation strategy for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it would depend on, are they forcing people to get help?
Talk is cheap.
Yeah.
So what does it look like in practice and policy and implementation and carrying it out?
Yeah. And are we just like I think one of the reasons that I, as a progressive, am hesitant about things like encampment sweeps is that you're literally just pushing the problem
pushing them
down
to
the
somebody
road.
else's neighborhood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But is that a viable alternative than to just letting the problem fester and just increase, right? It's like, is it the lesser of two evils in that situation where, it is a game of constant whack-a-mole, but it's preferable to letting this become like a tent city full of hundreds of people and keep growing.
We had the story earlier today. The city had to shut down 3 parks because they'd become so overrun with needles and drugs and violence. They literally put fences around these parks to try to keep the people out.
It's great when it leaves your neighborhood, but having grown up in Lake City where it often got swept to, you are just pushing people around. You're taking stuff from people, like people lose their IDs, and it just have to move in a way that just makes life harder.
I do think we also underestimate the number of voters in the Seattle area that I wouldn't say they believe that it's perfectly acceptable to sleep on the street, but they also don't want to infringe on people's so-called right to sleep on the street. Like, they're okay with it. They say if that's the way you want to live your life,
natural habitat,
live and let live. Like do
These
your
are not
thing.
Squirrels.
There's a lot of social workers in the Seattle area that are very hell-bent on just getting people cleaner needles, letting them live more comfortably on the street because they say, hey, that's their definition of happiness. And we want to make sure they're doing it safely to where they're not ODing. So we want to get them a lot of Narcan. We want to get them cleaner ways to do drugs, and they can live their version of the American dream. I think we underestimate how many people in Seattle actually believe that that's an okay way to live your life if you so choose.
My feelings on this are informed by 2 different sources. Well, 3. I see it in the news every day, so I have my thoughts and feelings on that. But a friend of mine is a firefighter for the Seattle Fire Department. And I talked to him, our kids are dear friends, and he lives up north near me, but he works in Seattle. And he was telling me that a good chunk of his time is spent administering Narcan. It is very, very common. It's a huge chunk of what he does as a person who grew up dreaming of being a firefighter, putting out fires, saving people's lives. He now just tries to save junkies from dying of drug overdoses, which really, really is awful. And he's very good at it. They have all the different, they started out giving, shots in the hip, I think, and now they have the nasal thing that they give everybody. That's what they spend a huge portion of their time doing. That's a huge problem. So these people are violently addicted to things. So them staying on the streets is not really a decision that they're making for themselves. They're on the streets because they're addicted to drugs and they cannot exist in normal society because of this crippling, awful demon that's possessed them of drugs. The other story that just breaks my heart is whenever I see a news organization who follows a parent around trying to find their kid who's addicted to drugs. And I've seen this a couple of times now. I think maybe, I don't want to name them because I don't know exactly if this is the organization that did it. But there's an organization who reaches out to people on the streets. It's a private organization. They do a very good job. But they went around with a mom who was trying to find her daughter who is addicted to drugs and who is in her 20s. And the heartbreak in the mother's eyes as she goes from tent to tent, not finding her daughter. Brutal. And not knowing where her daughter is, and knowing that her daughter is being, who knows what's happening and who knows what she's doing to get those drugs. As a parent, that's an impossible situation to find yourself in. And you don't want those people to just be left to stay on the streets. You want somebody to come in and say, hey, you know what? We recognize that you can't help yourself right now. And so we're going to force you to get help just to give you a chance to have some clarity so that you can make a better decision about what your long-term health is going to be. Or you can leave them on the streets and then they're just addicted to drugs.
And what happens when you don't want help?
That's what I'm saying. You have to remove them. Physically, you have to remove them. You force them into getting help. That's what I think you should be doing. If somebody's addicted to drugs, they're not really making a logical decision for themselves, are they?
Right, but what does that look like? The term force can mean a lot of things.
When somebody drunk drives, we recognize that that's dangerous, right?
Yeah.
We don't allow a person who's impaired to drive. In fact, we even lock those people up forcefully.
But
right?
Here's the thing. I mean, this is indicative of our justice system in this region because we talked earlier about that case of the guy who's been arrested 30 times. Clearly, that person does not want help. You know what I'm saying? So is the last straw just locking them up? So if a homeless person, you could try to force them to get rehabilitation if they just regularly are adamant about not wanting it.
The policy in Seattle is that you give them housing first, so you don't make them get clean. I would say, and again, I'm not a resident of Seattle, so I don't have a say in this, but my feeling is it would be better if they forced them to try to get clean so that they could have a clear thought process on making that decision for themselves. And then if they keep returning to doing drugs and endangering people's lives and leaving needles out, then maybe they have to get arrested. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around.
This hour is brought to you by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO Newsradio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO Newsradio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO Newsradio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hey football fans, Steve Rabel here. You know what makes Washington State truly special? It's the people, the everyday champions who serve, care, and connect. This fall, your local credit union, WSECU, is proud to celebrate 4 of these inspiring individuals as part of Washington's Community Champions. Serving Washington since 1957, WSECU is the only credit union named a Forbes Best Credit Union 5 years in a row. Now it's your turn to get in the game. Nominate your hero today at mynorthwest.com/champion.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
With a procedure as new as stem cell therapy, it's natural to wonder, okay, if it worked on my shoulder, maybe it'll work on my knee too.
The first one I had done was the rotator cuff.
And for Leslie, who's been a patient of Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, the answer is absolutely.
Going up and down stairs was like, oh, I can't do this. So I went to see Dr. Wagner. He said, well, you have a torn meniscus. He says, I think the best way to fix this is stem cells. So I said, of course, because it worked on my shoulder so well. I thought, well, let's do my knee. Within a day, I was pain-free and walking again. I feel like my body is regenerating itself through my own stem cells.
Which is why it's called Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine, because surgery is not involved.
Everybody down at Dr. Wagner's office couldn't have been nicer.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, or a shoulder and a hip and a knee, before choosing surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. It was a contentious Senate hearing today with U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. CBS's Natalie Brand has a recap.
Testifying before lawmakers Thursday, HHS Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. defended last week's shakeup at the nation's top health agency.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC.
The ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee pressed him on the firing of CDC Director Susan Monteraz.
Did you, in fact, do what Director Monteraz said you did, which is tell her to just go along with vaccine recommendations, even if she didn't think such recommendations aligned with scientific evidence?
No, I did not.
Now, ahead of this hearing, a letter from 1,000 current and former HHS staffers called on Kennedy to step down. Hawaii announced it is joining Washington, Oregon, and California in that newly formed West Coast Health Alliance. Governors say they want to provide science-based guidance by removing politics from vaccine recommendations. Not clear whether insurance plans would cover vaccines recommended by the alliance, but not by the CDC. Sealed documents in the Brian Kohberger murder case could be made public in the coming months. Details from KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
One item that we know will be released, photos of the victims. It is the first sealed document listed in the entire case. What we don't know is if that includes crime scene photos or simply photos of them before they died.
Kohberger pleaded guilty to murdering those 4 students and accepted a plea deal that will keep him in prison for life. Well, that 49ers fan you come across at Lumen Field this Sunday might just be an undercover cop. Seahawks announced they're using law enforcement dressed as opposing fans at home games this season. Team says they want to spot people violating the code of conduct, including those who use unruly behavior, harassment, and substance abuse. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 2:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Aaron, Seattle Sports has the update. Let's start you up north in Everett. Our earlier backup on the Boeing Freeway eastbound has thinned out and moved on to I-5, and now North 5 beginning to fill in between the Boeing Freeway and 529. Very typical here. Everett to Marysville, still looking good, taking just 15 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, you're at 25 minutes. You're wide open until you reach the Ship Canal Bridge, and then it's packed down to I-90. South 405 is slow through Factoria, actually about mid-Bellevue down to the VMAC. Bellevue to Renton's going to take you a half hour. North 5 beginning to fill in at the West Seattle Bridge. South 405 is thick in South Center as you approach I-5. Seattle to Federal Way is a half-hour drive. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is up to 40 minutes. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Hazy sunshine again today. Air quality issues mainly east of the Cascades. Slightly better air quality tomorrow and into the weekend with some cooler weather and even some showers in the mix as well. Right now, 75 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. Greg, you wanted Aaron to stick around for a second.
Yeah, Aaron, just for a moment. Great newscast, as always. But one thing that particularly made my ears perk up was in regards to the Seahawks-Niners games this weekend.
Yes.
Law enforcement is going to be wearing Niners jerseys.
Every home game this season.
I mean, I don't know about the strict definition of entrapment, but come on, man. I mean,
right.
I guess.
What did you say?
So every home game this season, the Seahawks announced they're stepping up security by hiring law enforcement to be wearing opposing teams' jerseys.
So they're going to be trolling fans?
So they can, essentially, yes.
Why? And it'll look like more of the enemy has infiltrated Lumen Field.
That's a good point.
Are they trying to draw some sort of a reaction from people and then arrest them?
Yeah, I'm not sure why they can't just dress as Seahawks fans and still point to unruly behavior.
It's funny that before you now harass another fan for a jersey, you have to ask, are you a cop?
That's right.
This is entrapment.
That's
this is entrapment. Are you a cop? That's funny.
But thinking of this in context, Seattle sports fans don't we have a reputation for being rather tame compared to other fan bases, or is that fair?
I think that's just like a Pacific Northwest thing.
Yeah, right? Isn't that the vibe?
I don't know if it's a crossover for sports fans, though. They can be a little unruly.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
When alcohol gets involved.
We shall see.
Yeah.
What do you think? 888-973-5476. Is that entrapment? I think it is, folks.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you right now it is.
Probably wouldn't hold up in a court of law, but whatever.
Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah.
All right, before we get to this crazy owl story, somebody was attacked by an owl, so he says. So we will talk about it in just 1 second. I want to read this chat, though. This from the YouTube family. If you go to youtube.com and you search KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM, the Jake and Spike Show Live will pop up. You can enjoy us there. You can watch us in person, which is a lot of fun. Before the break, we were talking about drug addicts, how you deal with drug addicts. I was making the argument that you should be a little harder on drug addicts and you should get them off the streets forcibly, even if they don't want the help. Seattle does not have a policy like that. They have a housing first policy where they say, hey, you know what? You can continue your behavior that's ruining your life, but you can do it under a roof or a tiny house or something like that, which has not been working. But this is from a guy on the YouTube page who goes by Richard Page, actually, and he made some interesting points. The first one is an insult to me, I think, but I'm fine with that. He says, Jake obviously doesn't know the difference between a drug addict and a functional drug addict. That's why we need addiction centers where you can just walk right in. So when people hit their rock bottom, they can take advantage of their momentary clarity, which is the argument that I was making. You need to force people into a situation where they have momentary clarity. So I think Richard and I are actually way closer to where we're way closer to each other on this issue. And then he goes on to say this, which I think is really interesting. He talked about a friend's son who had a drug addiction. Listen to this. He says, we handcuffed my buddy's son to the floor and left him there for 3 weeks while he sobered up and he went through withdrawals. I told him that there's no judge in the world that would hold it against him. I just texted my buddy, he says the guy's name, but I won't read it on the air, to see if his son is still clean. And he says, yes, he's still clean and doing great. So what Richard is giving an example of there is exactly what I was saying. I'm not trying to be cruel to these people on the streets who are addicted to these, these horrible drugs, and it could be fentanyl issues, could be meth, whatever it might be. What I'm saying is they cannot make logical decisions right now because their brains are so filled with this toxin that they're just scrambling to get more of it. They're not making. Otherwise, why would they go in and steal from grocery stores and rip people off on the streets and prostitute themselves out? These are not logical decisions. So these people aren't making good decisions for themselves. And we just did a story last week about how Washington spent over the last biennium $2 billion on this very issue, and the number increased by 25%. So what they're doing is not working. It's not working. So what if? And here's a proposal for you, and this would be to Richard too, and I'd love Richard's take on this on the YouTube page. What if they took that $2 billion and they built beautiful retreats, beautiful centers, like Richard is suggesting here, some sort of a retreat where people can walk in and get the help that they need on the east side of Washington. A lot of land available out there. You got vistas and views. Who doesn't love that? It's very nice. It's got that desert feel. 300 days of sunshine. You can't beat it. Build these beautiful retreats over there, spend anywhere within $2 billion over 2 years to do it. Pick up everybody who's doing something illegal off the street and give them the option to get clean. If they don't want to get clean, send them over to one of these beautiful retreats where they get to walk around in a beautiful robe or a nice sort of pajama or something like that. You're laughing.
You say retreat, but is this really another form of jail? Or
well, no.
Like they have no choice. They would have to go to it and be confined in this space.
They would have to go to this space until they sobered up. And once they sobered up, they might look around and say, hey, you know what? This is actually a pretty nice place to be. I've got 3 hots and a cot. Not even a cot. You can get them a full, nice bed. I've got regular food. I'm getting the help that I need. It's beautiful sunny weather. I'm not sleeping outside prostituting myself. I'm not like having to go into a soon-to-be closed down Fred Meyer stealing laundry detergent just to feed my $350 a day drug habit. This is not bad over here. I can get clean and maybe turn my life around just like Richard Page did for his friend's buddy or his buddy's son. Do you think that's worthy of trying?
I like that you're thinking outside the box. I will say that. Because clearly what has been done to date has not worked. And so any and all ideas are on the table, Jake.
But is that a crazy idea?
Let me offer you a retort in the voice of a homeless person from Portland. So I was watching KGW News out of Oregon the other day. And Portland has a lot of the same issues we have here in Seattle with homelessness.
Our sister city, yeah.
Worse in some regards. And they highlighted this local business in Portland that's been there for a long, long, long time. And the business owner pays for his employees to be able to park right in front of the business every day. Otherwise, it's like a 2-hour parking thing. Mm-hmm. So he pays thousands of dollars a year so his employees can park and then work at his business. Well, a homeless camp has taken over the sidewalk and the parking spots, and employees don't want to be anywhere near that because then they'll have break-ins and so on and so forth. And so the news reporter down for KGW spoke with one of the women who lived in the camp. So bear with me for 50 seconds.
She's a homeless lady.
It's a homeless lady.
Okay.
And I think a lot of her responses to questions that she was being prompted with are very illuminating
let's hear it.
For how or how not to deal with this situation.
Streets, we have different mindset. We just want to get our drugs and I guess spend time with each other.
Elizabeth camps in one of the spots Patrick's company pays for.
Like, it's just so, like, why are you getting mad about the money that you paid for a parking spot, an empty parking spot?
Yeah, because he can't use
what are you going to use it for?
Well, his employees, that's what
But they're not even parking here, though.
Patrick's employees don't want to park near tents, he says.
That is their problem. People who are working and don't get high and have different family lives, they do fear the homelessness and the way that they are dope sick and fiending, and they will rob and they will steal, and they can't control themselves like sometimes, and I get that scary. Why would I want to become part of normal society so I can complete counseling and treatment just to be in a cell of life?
Be in a cell of what?
A
cell of what? What did she say? A cell of what?
That's the main part of the quote, is that last sentence. Basically, being a part of civilized society feels like being in a cell. And ultimate freedom is living in a camp doing drugs, breaking into cars to get money and stealing items and so on and so forth.
She's a drug addict.
How do you ever convince a person like that?
She's a drug addict?
To try to get help.
Is she a drug addict?
Clearly, yeah.
Okay, so she's doing illegal drugs? Then I would say that if you're doing illegal things in an area you're not allowed to do them, then you will get arrested. And how much is she going to love being in a jail cell? Or she can go to my awesome
the
club.
Skorheim retreat.
She could go to my Club Med
club
out in the middle of the desert, and she can make a lot of friends and have a wonderful experience and turn her life around. Probably find like a really cool hobby. There's a lot of stuff you can do out there. Dig for fossils. I don't know. But give her a chance to get off of being addicted to drugs and then have that same conversation with her in like 6 months that she's been clean and see how she's feeling. But if she's going to continue to keep doing illegal things and ripping people off like she talked about, then yeah, I would say she's going to have to get locked up. That would be my response to her. But again, I don't live in Portland, so whatever. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Your text messages next. We'll be right back.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Say hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Piri coming this October.
You don't look like police. I'll take that as a compliment.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Have you stopped to think about how you feel today compared to 10 years ago? Are you noticing changes? Less energy, slow recovery, trouble focusing, maybe even weight gain? What if you could turn back the clock and feel stronger, sharper, and more alive? At Longevity Medical Clinic, we help people do exactly that. For over 3 decades, we've been helping thousands of men and women find out what's really going on inside their bodies and take action to feel better and live longer. With advanced diagnostics and personalized hormone and supplement plans, we uncover what's been holding you back and show you how to optimize your health. Our patients often say, "Now I finally understand what's happening and what to do about it." Take the first step. Call 866-86-YOUNG or visit LongevityMedicalClinic.com to schedule your free consultation. Longevity Medical Clinic. Feel better. Live longer. Let's do it together. Call 866-86-YOUNG.
Yikey wawa.
What?
My hot water.
Yeah?
Not so hot.
Water heater trouble?
It's not working.
We can fix that.
This week?
How about today?
Apollo Plumbing really is ready right now.
Especially when it comes to water heater replacement.
Think I need a new one?
Is it more than 10 years old?
It is.
Probably so.
Doesn't heat like it used to.
It runs out?
All the time.
That's a warning sign.
Uh-oh.
So are little leaks.
But Apollo can get me a new one?
Installed today by our clean screen trained and trusted plumbers. They're water heater experts.
But I probably got to pay a rush fee.
No extra charge.
You make this too easy.
We'll even haul off the old one.
A new water heater.
Same day. That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
This is going to get my budget in hot water.
Got you covered there too.
How?
Our available payment plans.
I don't have to wait?
Or take cold showers.
You are a lifesaver.
Call us this morning. You'll have hot water today.
That's the Apollo Plumbing way.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Your new beginning starts now. D.R. Horton has new construction homes available throughout the greater Seattle area. With spacious floor plans, flexible living spaces, and home technology packages, you can enjoy more cozy moments and sweet memories in your beautiful new home. With new home communities opening throughout the Seattle area, D.R. Horton has the ideal home for you. Visit drhorton.com to learn more. D.R. Horton, America's builder. An equal housing opportunity builder.
The $7,500 EV tax credit expires on September 30th, so head to Carter Volkswagen, Subaru, or Acura today. Discover their great selection, discounts, and financing offers now on the 2025 ID4 or the all-new ID Buzz from Carter Volkswagen, the 2025 Solterra from Carter Subaru, and the 2025 Acura ZDX at Carter Acura. The tax credit is ending soon, so hurry into Carter Motors or visit them at carterseattle.com.
Offer on lease vehicles only. Not all buyers will qualify. See store for details.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
AAA Washington membership unlocks epic roadside rescues, hundreds of local perks and discounts, travel and insurance expertise, and somehow more. Join today.
All right, welcome back to the show. By golly, we're getting a lot of great texts about people's ideas about how to get people clean off the streets, which is a huge topic these days. We got a lot of text messages. Let's jump right in here. Laura, go for it.
On police dressing up as opposing fans at Lumen Field, Ivan in Edmond says, I will never go to another Seahawks game.
Oh my, never say never. From the 253, as a fan coming to Lumen Field, this is probably one of the worst stadiums to come to by far as the fan base. I definitely see why the police are wearing opposing team jerseys. Seahawks fans are a lot worse than they like to think they are.
That's not good.
I haven't been to a game in a while.
If that's the reputation, that's not good. Oh, yeah, it's my turn. Sorry. On the driver arrested 29 times, Jesus in Kent says, you guys have no compassion. He needs at least one. He needs at least another second chance.
Just one more.
Just one more second chance. I think maybe you're right, Jesus.
Cal in Renton says, what happened to 3 strikes, you're out? I still think there is a form of that in Washington State, but it's reserved for the most violent types of crimes. And it's not for things like gross misdemeanors.
I think it was a typo. What happened to 30 strikes, you're out? I think that's so he still has.
He still has one to go.
He still has one to go. That's right. So he's well within.
Truck driver Phil says, shame. Watch Tombstone, Greg.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Gosh, public shaming. It's like, it feels like Game of Thrones in here. Go ahead.
Go. On vaccine hesitancy and changes at the CDC, 206 says, reminds me of the South Park episode where they go into the future and religion is no more, but they argue science. Instead of cursing God, it was science, damn it. I haven't seen that episode.
Dave in Snohomish County. Compared to some other states with other opinions, Washington State did quite well when it comes to the statistics during the pandemic.
BNP Olive says the only reason I got the shot was because I couldn't get into Elliot's Oyster House without it. That's a good reason.
That's funny. All right, on let's see here. On RFK Jr. and Bernie Sanders voices. 425 says Bernie Sanders should do the entire Dr. Seuss library of audiobooks. That would be hilarious.
Jesse B., both of them should read Everyone Poops. I haven't read that classic. Is that Dickens or is that...
I believe that's
Twain.
That's Mark Twain. Thank you.
Thank you. It might be Twain.
Dostoevsky, right after Brothers Karamazov. It was his follow-up book. Right.
Everybody poops. Doug in Mount Vernon says, book on tape, Andromeda Strain by RFK Jr., The Lorax by Bernie Sanders.
Nice.
Those would be, honestly, the most tedious audiobooks to listen to. I love do you guys do audiobooks?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
But when I listen to them, I say I've read it.
Oh, yeah.
I just finished reading that, and they're like, whoa, you're a prolific reader.
I just closed it and put it down.
Yes, exactly.
Technically, you kind of do, yeah. All right, go for it, Greg.
Go ahead. Okay, on the topic of policing drugs and sex work from the 360, I called the police yesterday about a man with a gun in Snohomish County, and it took them 25 minutes to get there. He was gone, of course.
Jeez. Stephen the 425 says, when you have to tell people that they need to stay out of drug areas, then there are police okay with certain areas of the city having drug activity in them? ? The same with the soap areas. How about you clean up the areas and then there will be no soda or soap? Isn't that the goal? Shouldn't it be the goal? You're right, Steve. Absolutely.
And Tina in Seattle said exactly what I was saying. The prostitution and crime used to be near SeaTac Airport. I guess they cracked down on it and it came to Aurora Ave and Lake City, which used to be decent areas. Also, there has been a noticeable decrease in drugs in downtown Seattle. Then I figured out it increased in Belltown. I knew it just didn't disappear. It's like whack-a-mole.
You know what else? Speaking of prostitution, because I was telling my friend in Magnolia when we arrived at his house, I said, I just saw horrible things. And he said, he goes, the reason they have so many prostitutes down there right now, and they're like everywhere, is during the pandemic, they shut down all of the like seedy strip clubs. And suddenly there was some jobs to be filled and people needed to find work. And so you had all these people who had been in these strip clubs. This is according to my friend. And I don't know where he did the research, but he was saying that like overnight, you had just dozens and dozens and dozens of prostitutes like on every other block, and it just got really, really bad. And
we should have done what Portland did. Drive-thrus.
Oh.
Do you remember that?
Yes. That's the safer way to do it. You're right.
Everyone's in their car.
All right, another text from the 206. Seattle could end its homeless problem tomorrow if the city leadership had the kahunas to do it. If I were in charge, homeless people would be offered treatment, and if they refused treatment, they would be offered a one-way bus ticket to Portlandia, and if they refuse that, they go to jail and stay there until they decide to get treatment.
There you go. Unicycle Mike, this is a great text. He says, I was a former user. I needed to be handcuffed to a bed for 10 days to get sober and clean. I am so thankful that I did. Unicycle Mike, thank you so much for texting us, and thank you for sharing that. Same with Richard Page over there on the YouTube line. I don't think it's compassionate to let drug users who are addicted to drugs stay on the streets and kill themselves just because that's where they are. I think it's much, much more compassionate to force them to get help and to prove that you actually care about them. But that's just my opinion. Thank you guys so much. This has been a really great show today. I think we had a ton of fun. We covered a lot of topics. I hope all of you have a wonderful day. Enjoy yourselves. Come back tomorrow. It's a Friday, which are tons of fun. And stick around. John Curley's coming up next. All right, guys. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. I'm so excited to have my cousin Amelia with me today. So I saw that you visited the baby chicks.
I got to hold 7 of them. They were so cute.
Do you know why Wilcox chickens are so happy?
Because they get to play outside?
Yes.
Happy chickens are healthy chickens.
From our farm to your table, Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh
since 1909.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
This is June, whose problem was arthritis in her knees.
Even simple things like drying my hair in the morning, I have to lean against the counter.
So June decided to look into stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. And why Dr. Wagner?
I have a good friend. He went to Dr. Wagner and he had stem cell in his knee and he did really well with it. So we did my left knee first and I couldn't believe the ease of it. And my staff couldn't even believe it. They
Really?
saw a difference in my walking the next week.
Really? What about that?
So yeah, that was pretty amazing. Now I've had 2 staff members who have watched me and they decided to go to Dr. Wagner.
So what would you say is the best thing that stem cell therapy has given back to you?
I don't have grandchildren yet, so my other goal is that I will be able to be down on the ground with these grandchildren when they come.
I just hope those kids are ready. So whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee before choosing surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Hey homeowners, John Curley here. Why not improve your home's comfort and efficiency now? Plus, save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Your best source for local news, KIRO News Radio.